Content warning. The comic discussed in this episode includes teen pregnancy, miscarriages, domestic abuse, vague incest, uncomfortable sex scenes, and just general stupidity. Also, spoilers for Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra.
All right. Are we ready?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Okay. So, welcome back to the Top 10 podcast. This is our second episode. I'm pretty
Two.
sure it is. I don't
Two.
Two. Yeah, it is two. You know, two. Two is just a great number. So great. Anyways, I'm Faye, and that is Riley.
Hello.
Yeah.
Riley.
You're somewhere over there.
I am.
Yeah.
Or I'm somewhere over here. You never really know with me.
She is just everywhere. Just yeah. Anyways, you have a new thing to tell us about
That's
today.
right. Today, we are counting down the top 10 How I Became Yours, the terrible Avatar: The Last Airbender fan comic that asks the question, what if Katara and Zuko were in love with each other? But also, what if they were traced over from the anime Bleach?
That just sounds thrilling.
It
It really does.
it certainly keeps your attention. How much you'll actually enjoy it is questionable. I almost died rereading this, but the things you have to do for quality podcasts.
Well, then this must be a very interesting read.
Mhm. So, just a quick disclaimer. Normally, we aren't going to talk about like fan content on here, like really bad fan fictions or whatnot, because the really bad ones are either intentionally bad, and those are typically just like not fun to read or talk about unless they're done really, really well, or they're made like by beginners or kids, people that won't really benefit from outright mockery as much as like, constructive criticism. But we will make exceptions. And the reason we're making an exception here is because the lady who made this, Jackie Diaz, and not doxing her, she has her name on the work, uh, all of the art in How I Became Yours is stolen. All of the characters are either traced over from scenes from the show or scenes from the anime Bleach, and all of the props and locations are just stock photos, like unaltered stock photos.
Yeah, Now I have not read this myself. I
No,
have seen a few pages, and let me
they
just
have.
tell you, they're terrible. They are awful. I'm surprised that someone looked at this and was like, "Yeah, this is good. This is good quality content."
Uh, I'll be showing Sam further examples. You won't be able to see them, but just to give you an idea of the art quality, just imagine that there's just a bunch of stiff wax models of characters who are just unable to emote. They only ever have like one or two facial expressions, and they're contorted in like horrific poses, and they are just over brightly shaded, and for some reason they are in front of a bad green screen. That's what all the art in this comic looks like.
That's honestly really impressive.
It is to a certain extent. There are examples kind of midway through this, but like Diaz does commit to the bit in that like she's really committed to the art's incompetence.
Hmm.
Like there are parts of this that you actually have to try really hard to make it as bad as it is.
Oh.
So, a little backstory on this comic. So, this comic was released, I think, in 2009, not entirely sure, but the important thing is that it came out before The Legend of Korra was even announced. So, some of the assumptions that Diaz makes here in regards to like what happened after the original series, like it obviously doesn't fit with Korra, but Korra didn't exist yet. So, I'm going to give her a pass on some of that.
I mean,
Um
who knows? Maybe this was the original plan for Legend of Korra.
but then like she made it completely accidentally, and then the creators of Avatar, whose names I can't remember right now, just look at this and they're like, "Oh crap! They figured out our plans.
They figured it out. Oh no.
Quick, go with the backup plan, the gay one."
Oh. Uh,
Really happy they went with that backup plan.
yeah, I've heard it's for the best.
So I found out about this comic way after Korra. I found out about it from the Bad Web Comics wiki, which, just as a disclaimer, I don't really go on there anymore. It's a pretty good place to find like bad media, like bad web comics and stuff, and some of their write-ups and reviews are good, but it's also very 4chan-y. So
Ah,
like they have a very specific standard of humor, and the website can get pretty transphobic at times.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
thankfully, How I Became Yours is one of the few articles on there that, is actually good.
Oh,
And
that's surprising.
and I found out about this comic and I read the whole review and I was just belly laughing through the whole thing cuz it was just one of the most hilarious things I'd ever seen. It was so utterly incompetent. And unfortunately like the main place that hosted this comic after DeviantArt, cuz Jackie Diaz got banned from DeviantArt for all the art theft. It was being held on MySpace and
And
PhotoBucket. So naturally, those versions don't exist anymore. And for years now, I've just resigned myself to never being able to really read How I Became Yours as it was intended to be.
can
But
we just like stop for a sec to just
mhm,
acknowledge that she got banned from DeviantArt
yes,
for art theft?
yes,
Like, it's DeviantArt. Like, the standards are already kind of low. It's the fact that you have to go out of your way and steal art is like even more ridiculous.
that's How I Became Yours for you. It exceeds even the lowest of expectations.
Oh, wow. Oh God. I can't wait to hear this engaging story.
And luckily, this story has been preserved to us through means that I will not disclose here. It gets popular enough that someone tries to take it down. But if you go searching enough, you can find a full re upload of How I Became Yours that only has a few of the pages out of order.
Damn.
And that's how I found out about this. I've read it twice, and it was not worth it. This
The
is
internet. The internet tried to bury this. It tried
critics
so hard.
critics are trying to bury How I Became Yours. Why don't you decide? Shout out to anyone that remembers the Goaty ad campaign.
I don't remember that.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't remember Goaty at all, except for the fact that it's like terrible. That's the only thing I know about it.
Okay, so real quick side tangent.
Oh God.
So Goaty is indeed terrible, and it was getting 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
So the marketing department of Goaty, in like an absolute genius move, decided to advertise the fact that it was getting 0%. And all of its ads were basically like, yeah, the critics say this is bad, but are you going to let them tell you how to think? Why don't you go see it for yourself and decide what you think is going on? And it didn't work. The movie was still a massive bomb, but hey, A+ for trying.
See, like you could do that for some like ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, but a 0%, I think you know what you're gonna get with a 0%.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Uh,
And so that's pretty much all of my preamble out of the way.
oh yeah. Back to the important topic.
Back to the important topic. It's time to start How I Became Yours.
I'm ready to just hear this wonderful story.
So, right off the bat, there's an issue because you have the cover art to How I Became Yours.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the cover art, it looks a lot like a James Cameron movie or like a Harlequin book, like something based on Titanic. There's a lot of like after images of characters in the foreground. Katara is coming down in like this beautiful gown, taking Zuko's hand. Um, and right off the bat, the issue is that none of these scenes that are being overlaid in the cover, and including the scene that's on the cover of Katara coming down the stairs, none of this happens in the actual comic. None of these scenes exist.
So, so none of it actually happens. It's just
No.
it's all for promotional purposes.
And that's not the only lie on this cover, because it comes with quotes.
I'm
One of
I'm
the
just seeing these quotes right now. What are these?
Zutara Tapang fans call it a masterpiece of art, sweet tragedy, romance, and a moving story that captures the mind, body, and soul, says DeviantArt. The entirety of DeviantArt, apparently.
Just for context, like the where it says where that quote is coming from literally says
Yeah, it
DeviantArt.
just says DeviantArt. That's not a joke. That's what it actually says.
As if like that's the name of the person who said that quote.
Or if DeviantArt is like Rotten Tomatoes, like it's a critic website.
You could have just had it at DeviantArt, or yeah. There's no reason to have says DeviantArt.
And then way
Oh,
down on the bottom, you have another quote that states, "A fine display of love, sorrow, and beauty," says Crazy House Productions. I don't know who they are. I haven't done any research into that because I'm a bad podcaster, but
I
presumably
also
they're probably like just a Tumblr DeviantArt user.
I also love how they misspelled beauty in the quote.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of those actually.
God damn, how do you misspell it that badly?
This is actually not the worst misspelling in How I Became Yours.
It's spelled Buaty.
I'm not gonna
Beauty.
I'm not gonna harp on the spelling mistakes too much because they happen like every page, and like my spelling is also terrible, so I'm not one to
Okay, but
talk.
it's not that bad. Come on.
No, no, it is that bad.
Oh, it isn't. I've seen your writing. It's not that bad.
Yeah, after I edit it like 5 times.
Oh, please. No.
But yeah, I'm not gonna harp on it too much, but I'm going to point out the like most egregious ones. And there generally isn't much of an excuse for this. It's so present and just throughout the whole story. And that's
Right.
just the cover. We haven't even actually started the story yet.
Oh god. All right. So we might as well just dive in deep here.
Yep. So we begin our story in chapter 1, Life in the Earth Kingdom. That's the actual chapter name.
Yes.
So we get this extremely overwrought monologue. Just like,
Mhm.
it's super long. It takes up like 3 or 5 pages.
Oh god, this
And
formatting.
yes, I just sent a picture to Sam. All of these pages just have stock photos with text over them.
Oh
There's
my
no
god.
actual art in the first 5 pages of this web comic.
You know, you never realize the importance of a letterer in comics until you see something like this.
Yeah, it's just complete word vomit.
It's
Paragraph
so
paragraphs
bad.
of paragraphs of text are just stuck onto all of these images with no real rhyme or reason or consideration
God.
for where the eye is supposed to go.
Oh, this makes my head hurt.
I hope you like it. This is one of the better examples, like one of the better letterings throughout the series.
Oh my god. This
So,
looks terrible.
so in this monologue, Katara is just narrating. So according to her, it's been 3 years since the end of the series. And in those 3 years, she is now hanging out with Toph. Toph, meanwhile, is now the head of the Beifong family because her parents died in the war, which, okay, reasonable assumption to make, pre-Korra.
Yeah. Okay.
So she spends this entire monologue basically when she's not like whining, because every character in this book in this series whines. She talks about how awesome the Earth Kingdom and Fire Nation are, just how great they are, how beautiful they are. The Earth Kingdom especially. She loves the Earth Kingdom. It's so beautiful and amazing. She also
Oh,
never really mentions the Water Tribe in this monologue, despite that kind of being her whole thing from the original series.
the Water Tribe? Forget them.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
living in
all
the
about
Earth
the
Kingdom
Earth
now.
Kingdom now.
Yeah. My home culture? Nah.
Earth Kingdom, this is my shit right here.
Yeah. Toph is here, and she has money. So, Katara, being a protagonist, is having a bad dream. Yeah, she wakes up. When she wakes up, she's given a pep talk by Toph, who's just
Mhm.
like, "You're the best. You're awesome. Don't be so hard on yourself." You know, typical protagonist stuff. And that also throughout this whole story, Toph is just wearing like ludicrous amounts of makeup, which is kind of out of character, but whatever.
Yeah, that is like that's pretty out of character.
So Toph tells Katara during this pep talk, maybe that the notes aren't clear that some pain can't be healed by time, and then Katara immediately responds with, "Well, I wish it could."
Ah, okay.
So then Katara and Toph walk up to the grave of Kuzan. Avatar lore aficionados may remember that Kuzan was the name of Aang's friend in the Fire Nation a long time ago.
Yeah.
But in this story, Kuzan is also the name of Katara and Zuko's dead child.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So, basically, he like died while he was in the womb, miscarriage.
Wait, they're they're already like at that stage.
Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, they're already at the stage. So,
Okay.
basically, this comic kind of rewrites the ending of the series. It's not super explicit, but basically, in this comics universe, Katara and Zuko got together at the end of the series, like had a secret forbidden romance, and Aang and Toph were just for each other the whole time in the original in this comics version of the original series.
Yeah,
Which,
not gonna lie, I never shipped either of those those two.
well, then you are one of the few who hasn't shipped Zuko and Katara at some point, my friend.
I literally have never shipped them.
Also, just quick aside, if anyone is going to dredge up the shipping wars from 2005, we really don't care about your ship. This comic is bad on its own merits. Like, we don't care about the relationships here except for one. Like, just don't bring us into that. Leave those scars back in the past where they belong.
Yeah, I don't really think Avatar, the series, like the first series, really had that big of like shipping dynamics anyways. I think there were a few like obvious pairings, but other than that, you know, everything just kind of seemed platonic, not gonna lie.
Sam.
Maybe that's
Oh,
just me.
oh, you poor
Maybe
sweet summer child.
okay, in all fairness, I did miss Avatar when it first premiered,
Yes, you
so
did. That's the
I
important
got it.
context here.
I did catch it when it came on Netflix. I know my
Yeah.
childhood was terrible, but you know,
Yes, that's the context here. Sam wasn't here when the original series happened, so they did not experience the absolute chaos, the like toxic waste dump that was the Avatar shipping scene when the show was on.
oh god, I probably pissed off so many Avatar
You did.
stands.
You really
I
did. Just
like
to give you an idea of how bad it was, imagine Voltron's shipping scene, but like 2 degrees below that.
2 degrees below Voltron. That would be insane. Was
It
it
was,
really that bad?
from what I remember, yes, it got really heated at points.
Oh god. Like,
Yeah.
chill. It's just a good show. It's just a good adventure show.
But it can't be a good adventure if everyone is not smooching each other.
They're children. Calm down.
That doesn't matter, Sam. The
I
horny
know.
is all that matters.
I know. God damn it.
So
Ah.
So yeah, they walk up to the grave. Katara's all sad, and then they have a flashback to 3 years ago. And a thing this comic really likes to do when it thinks it's being like emotional or dramatic is that it likes to echo words behind itself. So like it will say like 3 years ago, and then behind it, slightly faded and in larger font, there will be another ago. It
Wow.
happens a lot, and it's dumb.
It sounds dumb.
So we then have a flashback to 3 years ago, and Katara is 6 months pregnant. Sokka is convinced. She's having like a funny conversation with Sokka and Toph, and Sokka's like, "Oh, the kid will definitely be a firebender because he just tried to kill me by kicking me, because baby kicks and whatever."
Okay.
And
I'm just
that
I can't believe we're already like at the stage where they're making a child.
keep in
This-
mind this was 3 years ago, so she's like 16 when this happens.
That's even worse. That's even worse. Oh my god.
So
Why are we here?
why are we still here? Just to suffer. And Toph then mentions that she's never seen a child of, quote, fire and water before.
Um well, you're about to apparently.
And this will be a running theme, this idea that never shall the elements meet.
What? Why? Like, I get it. It was like that was kind of the premise of the show initially, but like, it's not like they never interacted with each
Yeah.
other.
It's not like over the thousands of years they just didn't have kids with each other.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, people are too horny to not do that.
Yeah, apparently. Apparently everyone in this universe is too horny.
So Katara tells Sokka to send birthday and/or baby shower invites to everyone. It's not clear, but notably, he he cannot send invites to anyone to the Fire Nation. Like, he can't send invites to the Fire Nation because she doesn't want Zuko to know that she's having his kid yet.
Why?
So,
You're 6 months pregnant. I feel like you should let him know if he's the father.
well, to be fair, he is the Fire Lord, and there's a lot of lip service played to like not messing things up with like a bastard or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Although
But
I guess I was under the assumption that in this universe everyone was like existing in harmony now.
you
So,
would think, but it's weird. Well, there'll be more detail on that later, but it's never really explained well, and when it is explained, it doesn't make any sense.
oh.
Which is actually how you can describe the entirety of how I became yours.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll just wait to see what else happens.
So Katara walks off, and Sokka, I forgot. I'm calling these guys by the M. Night Shyamalan movie names because these are not the characters from the show. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
So Sokka turns out to have been an idiot, and he did send letters to the Fire Nation. Whoops.
Ahsoka. Such a dumbass.
Ba-ba-ba-da, wah. Also, Toph mentions that Katara being pregnant makes her a more powerful waterbender, which comes completely out of nowhere and is never mentioned again.
Is that lore now? Is that official Avatar lore now? God damn it.
Wait.
I'm already losing my sanity here.
So,
We gotta recap this whole thing? God damn.
haven't even made it like halfway through chapter 1 yet.
We haven't. Okay.
Katara feels sad because Zuko isn't there. And it becomes clear more so than ever before that Diaz just does not know how to pace or like letter dialogue properly. So she will just copy and paste paragraphs, like literal paragraphs of text, into single word balloons, and it looks atrocious.
What the fuck? It's just wow. This is like so lazy.
It is. I
It's just so lazy. Like,
I I get the feeling that this was originally written as just like a text fanfic and then was turned into a comic later on because, everyone talks in these overly long paragraphs.
it's just
And this is a good example of one, as Sokka gives Katara a, like, just overly long pep talk.
this pep talk's just really oh my god. Katara, your as in it's hers, not stupid. You are very brave for what you're doing. And don't ever, doubt yourself again for it. This is so hard to read. It's just there's too many commas.
Those actually aren't commas, that's just the font.
Wait, so those are periods?
No, a lot of times there isn't punctuation.
What?
Like some
Wait,
of,
so
like,
those aren't commas. That's just how the font is.
there are a few commas, but the R in the font makes it look like a comma when it's not.
Oh, wow. I hate this.
So Sokka comforts Katara with this pep talk, and in the process, it's revealed that he and Suki have broken up off screen. It will be established way later on that it was a long distance relationship, and because it was long distance, it didn't work out. But that's literally like the only explanation you're going to get about what happened. That's it.
Oh, wow. So I guess the author here just does not care about
No,
Sokka.
no, she does. She cares very much about Sokka, but she does not care about Suki, as you will see in chapter 3.
Oh.
So some rain clouds move in, and then Sokka compares Katara to them, as in like they're strong and unwielding, like real faux poetic crap.
Yeah. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of that.
Meanwhile, in the Fire Nation, we're just at the Fire Nation now, like an extremely stiffly posed Zuko. He literally looks like a wax mannequin that has a wireframe skeleton. Um, he's just staring. He's staring at the sun and he's thinking about Katara and he says, I miss you," with the letter U. Like not Y-O-U, just the letter U. I miss you, like a teenager.
Oh my god.
Zuko has Katara's necklace from season 1 for some reason, and this is the only time this is ever mentioned. And then he flashes back to the start of the relationship, where Katara is holding a Photoshop, has like a Photoshop flower in her hair, and Zuko says that he's haunted by her eyes. And those eyes that still haunt my dreams. And they're just like dead light. They're just like dead and lifeless.
I'm sorry, just comparing the two images, those are different eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
guessing you don't remember it exactly that well.
yeah, there's no consistency in this. Basically because Diaz is just like just taking image sources from wherever she can from either the show or Bleach.
Right. And yeah, wow, that flower is just not very well photoshopped into there.
So
Then
back
again, neither is the backgrounds.
yeah. The compositing is awful.
Yeah.
So, back in the present, Katara is reflecting on her sadness. She hopes that Zuko is happy, that he's just like happy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, she reflects that their current relationship just wouldn't work since it was a long time ago, quote, when loved could have been possible, unquote.
Wait, when loved could have been possible?
When loved could have been possible.
God, I miss those days when loved could be possible.
Loved, loved will tear us apart again.
Oh, wow.
So this is why I'm glad we're not doing this as a Twitch stream, because then we would be demonetized. Not that we make any
Oh.
money off of this anyway.
Yeah, Riley, we're gonna lose our negative 1 cent.
We're gonna lose subscriber.
Yeah.
So Toph removes Katara from the grave because she's been there too long, which, you know, sad, tragic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's then revealed that Katara's birthday is literally the day after Kuzan died, so that's an oof.
Oof. Wow.
Toph leads Katara back to her estate, and then has her own, like, sad teenager monologue about how Katara is like a sad, tragic teenager now, noting that the bright, bubbly, and caring sugar queen that I used to know is gone.
But was she really that bright and bubbly? Like,
I'd say she was bright. She was hugely optimistic.
yes,
Bubbly?
I would say she was very optimistic, but like I don't know about bubbly. That's a weird out of left field descriptor for her.
And we're not even gonna get into all the problems with caring sugar queen.
Yeah, I wanted to avoid that. Just you know, when I think of Katara, I do not think of Sugar Queen. That's just what? What?
And now we're back in the Fire Nation. So the
Back in
wax
the Fire
model
Nation. Yep.
the wax model of Zuko is now very awkwardly like angled over his desk writing.
I like to think it's an actual wax model.
It looks like it in his first 2 pages. It honestly does.
It's ironic considering it's in the Fire Nation. It's probably like melting at the.
So Iroh comes in, and he's brought a handmaiden with him, and the handmaiden is a tracing of Suki. So Suki is in this comic. Just she used her as a tracing twice for 2 different handmaidens.
Damn, the shade. Shade for Suki. God.
And so the handmaiden belongs to Mai, and the handmaiden reveals that Mai has been intercepting all of Katara's letters to Zuko, which is why they've been out of contact this whole time. Iroh further reveals that they found a torn up letter that they like reconstructed with, I don't know, pre-zoom and enhanced letter recreation technology, and the letter is from Katara, and it tells Zuko that she was pregnant. Dun dun dun.
Oh.
So Zuko has literally not known about this whole thing for 3 years.
For 3 years?
And in those 3 years, I guess he never bothered to just like go to the Earth Kingdom on a diplomatic mission or just check up on her or anything.
Wait, that doesn't add up. Am I doing the math right? Like, if
No, you're doing it right. The problem is that Hippie doesn't follow math or any form of human logic.
so I was about to say, if he didn't know for 3, or is it just he didn't visit for 3 years?
He hasn't seen Katara since the end of the series, I think. And it's been three
Okay,
years since the end of the series.
but Katara somehow is pregnant with his child
She was pregnant 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
And then
Okay.
and then Kuzan died. Kuzan is dead in the present.
Oh, okay.
So Kuzan died in a miscarriage 3 years ago.
This is okay. This whole time I thought
Lore.
she was wow. Yeah, okay.
So back to Katara in the Earth Kingdom.
Mhm.
Katara is wondering if Zuko will show up to her birthday party, and then a few more things are established that really should have been established beforehand. So at this party, because they're turning 18, Katara is Katara is and Sokka are going to be crowned the prince and princess of the northern and southern water tribes because they
Oh,
are a monarchy now.
yeah. That's not how the show did it.
Now, it's been a while since I saw Korra, and I know that like eventually the two tribes did like unite to a certain
Yeah,
extent.
I think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
But so good read on Diaz's part there, but the reasons as to why they're together in this universe are borderline insulting, and I'll talk about those later because that's covered in chapter 2.
Oh, okay.
But what's also established in this monologue is that not this monologue, she's talking with Toph.
Right.
So what's also established here is that Katara will, once she's crowned the princess of the Water Tribe, will have to leave the Earth Kingdom for her own country
Mhm.
because she's just kind of been chilling here for 3 years despite being a princess
Right.
of a different nation.
Yeah.
This is brought up, but never actually happens.
Oh.
Katara will go on to spend 3 months in the Earth Kingdom after this.
Mm.
And no one will ever say, like, hey, maybe you should get back. Nah. Um, also, the air nomads are actually living. Like Ong isn't the last one. They found a bunch of them living in the mountain ranges near the Southern Air Temple,
Oh, what?
which again, like that's not how it ended up happening, but it's a reasonable assumption to make in a pre-Korra world.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you can't really call it Avatar: The Last Airbender now.
Um, the issue, however, the actual problem is that it's also established that Toph and Ong have been into each other since the series was a thing, but they can't be together because he's the Avatar and she's the rich heiress of like a rich family who just hangs around her estate all day, all the time. It's very unclear as to why the literal avatar cannot just marry who he wants, but I guess that's an issue now.
Right, that's kind of stupid. Also, again, I don't get this shipping whatsoever. I really don't. I'm sorry to the Aang and Toph shippers out there,
The
but
Toffangers.
what drugs were you on as kids? I don't know. It's really confusing.
It's
I'm
funny.
sorry.
I was actually a Toph and Sokka shipper as a kid.
Okay, see, that kinda makes sense.
Yes,
Kinda.
I picked up on some signals and I was just like, "Oh, they're into each other." Cuz
'Cause,
for
like,
some reason my
you
young
know,
child mind didn't understand that Suki existed.
yeah, like, if you're just watching season 2, I could kinda see how you'd pick that up.
Yeah.
I'm not like a diehard ship for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
No one should die for their ship, for any ship. I'm
But
sorry.
yeah, that's my new conclusion. Avatar fans were just on drugs.
Oh,
I'm watching.
it's thundering out.
It's thundering.
Yeah. Hopefully the power doesn't go out like it has every single other time it's rained here.
I must have angered the Avatar stands. Yeah, I think that's it. That's what happened.
We get our first appearance of Ong here, and he looks awful. He looks way too jacked.
Damn, Ong. What's your workout schedule? What gym do you go to?
Avatar Gym.
Avatar gym. It just makes me think it's like another avatar named Jim. He found him. He's no longer the last airbender.
Airbender Jim.
Yeah.
Jim from The Office.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're back in the Fire Nation now.
Are we?
Zuko is confronting Mai, and you discover that instead of onomatopoeia, this comic is just gonna do sound effects by putting like what the sound effect is supposed to sound like in asterisks. So in this scene, it's asterisk maids run out the door with a loud slam asterisk. And all of the sound effects are like this. They're like weird stage directions.
It's just what? Oh my god. That's just wow. Yep.
This comic is basically like the opposite of like Will Eisner's How to Make Comics book. It's like, here's how you not make comics. Like this is every wrong thing you could do when making a comic.
I'm sure if I wrote the same story but made exactly every opposite decision the author made, I'd probably write like a New York Times bestseller. I mean, I think so. I think that's probably a good assumption considering I've only seen like half of the first chapter.
Well, we're almost at the end of the first chapter now.
There we go. All I needed was just one chapter of it.
So Zuko is like, you hid Katara's letters from me. And Mai is obviously like, no, I didn't. So Zuko throws her to the ground, shouting, liar! And,
Or, maybe she didn't. I don't know.
And the scene is just utterly ruined by the same, like, overly stiff character work that's been present throughout this entire thing. There's no energy or emotion in any of the figure work, and they're just standing there, like T-posing.
It's just the wax doll of Zuko.
Yeah.
Saying liar. Just, yeah.
So they have an argument, and every other word in the argument is bolded for some reason, because of course it is.
Oh, yeah, because emphasis on the words.
So Mai defends her actions by pointing out that Zuko's bastard could have caused a war since, according to this comic, the new Fire Nation Senate is very conservative and bloodline-based. In response, Zuko responds by screaming at her like a maniac, saying stuff like, "You knew she was pregnant!" and points out that Mai's actions also could have started a war. Because, there's now an unclaimed bastard child out there.
Wow.
And Mai's response to that is, well, she and Zuko are married and kind of in a relationship. And, the fact that they were in a relationship hasn't been changed. They were still in a relationship from the original series. So, right. Zuko basically kind of cheated on her.
Oh, he definitely cheated on her.
And or Zuko cheated on Katara with her. Actually, wait, no, he did both. Zuko comes out of this looking really bad, actually.
Yeah, that's what happens when a wax doll decides to get around.
So, Mai tells Zuko that she loves Zuko way deeper than Katara ever could. And this is just the final nail in the coffin for Zuko, who shouts that he never loved Mai, and then she cries.
Wow,
her face, but it's the exact same face and pose she's had the entire argument. So she's just looking very angry, and now she just suddenly has tears going down her face.
You weren't lying with like the bold font. It's
Yeah.
like it's almost like it in the impact font, you know?
It is. I think it might be.
You know, the font everyone uses for all those old ass memes. Just oh wow.
So Zuko basically denies all responsibility. He makes Mai the sole bad guy of the situation, and the comic agrees with him because bad writing. And
Yeah.
he's claiming that she's super selfish and that her actions have put the country in dander,
Wow.
even though his actions were just as selfish and also put the country in dander.
You know, it's like both of these characters are just in so much dander.
Mai is so angry now that she calls Zuko a charred monster. And Zuko is so offended by that that he's like, I'm going to pretend you didn't just call me a charred monster.
It's like a fire pun.
Zu-
Is
Zuko
that how
then
the Fire Nation insults each other? Just like calling them fire-related insults?
You're a piece of coal, Zuko. Oh no! So Zuko then notes that my sins are way darker and your demons more desirable than mine ever could be.
Damn,
Whatever that means.
chill.
And then he divorces her on the spot.
Just on the spot. He had
Yeah.
those divorce papers ready.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
just divorced now. Relationship over, I guess. Man, I sure hope the comic doesn't later establish that there's some like weird semi-permanent Fire Nation love ritual that happens, or else this would make no sense. Anyway, that's the end of chapter 1. And now we're on to chapter 2, Fears and Nightmares.
Fears and nightmares. Wow.
So we start with another flashback to 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Katara is looking forward to tomorrow since it's going to be her birthday. And then Toph comes in and tells her that she got a gift from a curtain Fire Lord.
A curtain Fire Lord. Wow.
The servant then brings out a photoshopped fruit bowl. Just all the fruit and the bowl itself just photoshopped, and it looks awful.
Oh, her face.
Yeah, this is the other Suki handmaiden.
Oh god, her face looks exactly like a Big Mouth character, and I hate it.
Oh my god, you're right.
Well, it's just once I see it, I can't unsee it.
I
Get
do
this
not
image
see
out
it.
of here. I don't like it.
So Katara takes one bite from the fruit from the bowl and then immediately has a miscarriage. Like 2 seconds after eating the fruit, like uh blood's coming out, baby dead.
What? I
And
don't think that's how that works.
this will be important later but will still be incredibly stupid.
I don't know how it wouldn't be stupid. It's already stupid.
So as this is happening, uh she's flashing back within her flashback to some dialogue with Zuko, where it's established that they're star-crossed lovers because Zuko is a prince and Katara is just a commoner.
Wait, is that legal?
Except, you know, this comic establishes that Katara is a princess actually, so this doesn't work.
No, not that. A flashback within a flashback? Is that legal? I don't
Uh,
think that's legal.
yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to arrest Jackie Diaz for comic crimes.
Yeah, that's a comic crime of the highest degree. A flashback within a flashback. That's not how memories work. Or
Nope.
wait. No, that's not how memories work.
So, like, yeah, they established that Zuko and Katara can't get together because she's a commoner, which, you know, generic romantic trope.
How many times have I seen this trope done?
But the comic also just established that Katara is a princess. So the
Ah,
trope doesn't even apply to them.
yeah. Wow. So they didn't even cliche trope right.
No, they didn't.
Damn. How could you mess up that trope? It's a pretty easy trope.
I mean, she can't even get like lettering, like basic lettering and art right.
Yeah, I guess you're
do, you,
right.
do you expect her
Yeah.
to get tropes? Do you expect her to even understand what tropes are? You can bet that she hasn't read TV tropes, unlike me.
uh,
So it turns out it was a dream, and the guitar cries,
mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
because sad dream, so sad.
yeah, very sad.
So then we have a sad flashback to Zuko and Katara as teenagers having fully clothed, heavily implied sex, which you can assume is how Kuzan was conceived. And this is the best sex scene in the comic because it only lasts 2 panels.
That's implying that there are more sex scenes in this comic, and I
There
don't like
are.
that.
So we then cut to Sokka walking down. Sokka's walking down the street at night in his season 3 Fire Nation clothing, despite the fact that he is now in the Earth Kingdom.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're in the Earth Kingdom now.
Yeah, they're in the Earth Kingdom now. 90% of this story takes place in the Earth
That's
Kingdom.
right, because it's so great in this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would ever want to live anywhere else besides the Earth Kingdom, specifically Toph Beifong's estate?
Exactly.
So he's walking down the street when out of the corner of his eye, he hears a woman grunting and whining in pain, which is represented as asterisk, here's woman grunting and whining in pain, and asterisk. Sokka moves
Oh,
to
this is
investigate.
bad.
Sake now exists in the Avatar universe. It's noted that Sokka might have been using sake or something. I don't care.
What?
And the woman, he finds the woman who is moaning and whining, grunting and whining.
Yeah.
The woman, who is not Azula, is in a discount Mortal Kombat ninja outfit and is just like stumbling down the street with like a bleeding wound on her side. Sokka goes to help the woman, who is not Azula, and he knows she's not Azula because she is covering half of her face. So her identity is a complete mystery, but you can be sure that it's not Azula.
Damn. It's so weird considering like we're in a post-pandemic world and it's like I think you could recognize people when half your face is covered. It's not that
So
hard.
we get like an entire page of sound effects, which is asterisk starts to hear many voices incoherently, asterisk, asterisk, panting very heavily, asterisk, asterisk, heartbeat
I
sound,
know, I'm
asterisk.
looking at this. Why did they why what was the author's mindset when she made this effect?
You couldn't even just like put asterisk, heartbeat, asterisk. Like at least that counts as onomatopoeia, kinda.
Yeah, it could just be like heartbeat, you know?
Yeah. But no. Gotta have full on stage directions.
Just in case you were confused on whether or not it was a heartbeat sound or like, I don't know, a
A
heartbeat.
heartbeat feeling.
Yeah, a heartbeat feeling. Damn, that's a good song title. Heartbeat feeling.
Honestly, yeah, it is. Sounds like it'd be from like Jet Set Radio or whatever.
Yeah.
So Sokka saves the woman who is not Azula after she passes out from the poisoned wound, and Sokka says, "Dame," and then bizarrely says, "Tui and La, whoever you are, who did this to you?"
What?
I don't know. I,
Huh?
I don't know.
Huh?
I can only make
I'm so confused.
I
What
can't
does
even make a guess as to what that was supposed to mean.
that whole first part of that sentence just what?
Meanwhile, at the air temple, Ong is having sad boy hours, thinking about Toph. Apparently, Toph gave Ong her meteor bracelet as a memento, which is dumb.
Yeah, that's a dumb idea.
So the only other airbender who appears in this story, Ping, shows up and gives Ong love advice in what has to be the single worst usage of word balloons I have ever seen in a comic. Every single balloon is just multiple paragraphs of text. And this goes on for 2 to 3 pages.
My God, it gets bigger and bigger. It's just more. It's, it's very concerning.
And all of this word vomit just to say, follow your heart, don't care about what other people think about you.
Yeah, that's a lot of word vomit. Let's clean up some of that. We don't need all that.
We cut back to the Fire Nation. Zuko cuts his hair, which is apparently a big deal, but it's never brought up again. Back at
Mm.
Toph's estate, Katara has saved Not Azula with bloodbending, which she is okay with using now, despite, you know, her whole bloodbending
Very,
episode.
very clearly having an issue with it.
Yeah, like, she, she was kind of traumatized by it. You'd think that she wouldn't just use it as a medical thing, but here we are.
Yeah, that's not good.
So she used her bloodbending to flush the blood from Azula. Not Azula, I'm sorry, it's not Azula. She flushed the blood from Not Azula to, like, get the poison out. Which, alright. Sokka then gives her an extremely detailed description of the events I just told you about him finding her in the alleyway. This is
Ah,
like Diaz has embraced tell don't show to such an extent that she's like telling events we've already seen.
yeah, that's not good. We don't need an explanation of something we just saw.
I don't know, maybe she
And
thought
on
we were
second thought, looking at what we just saw, maybe some explanation is warranted.
yeah,
But,
maybe she
maybe
just
not all that.
yeah, maybe she just thinks we're like so stupid that we have like a baby's object permanence. Like we'll immediately forget about a scene like a few pages after it's shown, so she has to give like a full on previously on X-Men of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, if this was posted on DeviantArt, maybe it was
Mm-hmm.
like one of those things where it was posted like every week. And so she was like, "Oh, what if they didn't catch last week's? So I better explain exactly what happened in the last one." Which
So
even
and
then, that's
yeah.
unnecessary.
So anyway, Sokka actually knows what the poison is. It's called Kiss of the Dragon. And
Hmm.
it's a rare poison because only a few people know how to make it. It's very easy to make, but only a few people know the exact ways to make it.
Hmm.
Despite this, it was apparently used during the Fire Nation War, like the 100 Years' War, because
Oh,
he saw it on like injured soldiers and stuff. His dad told him about it, so like, guess it's not that secret.
yeah.
It's a poison that only affects firebenders. Because I
Oh,
guess being a firebender is genetic now.
is it genetic?
Who knows?
Did they establish that? I can't remember.
Not really. It's less genetic and more like magically genetic. If
I guess.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to remember from how they explained it.
Like as far as I remember, bending is basically midi chlorians. You just kind of have it.
Yeah, you just kind of have it. Yeah. Okay,
So
we'll go with that.
a side effect of the poison is, of course, amnesia.
Oh, God. Why? This is already bad enough. Why do we have to bring amnesia into this?
Katara and Sokka decide not to remove Natazula's mask because apparently she can breathe fine with it on, even though she was stabbed in the side, poisoned, and is unconscious.
Yeah, maybe you might want to take off that mask just
But the main reason they're
for a
keeping it
bit.
on is because when they were teenagers, they were like hiding from people who were pursuing them. So they don't want to accidentally tip off Natazula's pursuers by removing her mask.
Right.
It's uh,
Because Natazula's like that, I forgot the word for it. Pursuer Yes. Why am I taking so long with this?
How I became yours is killing your brain cells.
Yeah,
I know they
yeah,
killed mine.
because not Azula's pursuer might be anywhere, even in that
Mhm.
very room.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Why did it take me so long to say that? I don't know. This this book is getting dumber and dumber.
But who cares about any of that? Because it's birthday time!
What?
Yep, it's time for Katara's birthday.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were referencing that. But
So,
why?
Sokka narrates, and you can tell Sokka is narrating because it says Sokka's narration at the top.
Oh, okay. That way we know exactly. Okay. Yeah. So, in case you were confused, here is Sokka's narration.
Which is actually very helpful because every character in this series talks the same, so you really do need that, like, descriptor to tell who's talking.
Yeah. Ah. Damn.
Katara is said to have a birthday ball every year, and this is just treated as, like, normal.
Ah. Yeah, that's something Katara would always
Mhm.
have for
A
her
birthday
birthday.
ball.
A birthday ball.
Because
That's
Katara.
something that her water tribe threw every year is just a birthday ball in the middle of the where were they at? The South Pole?
Yeah, they
South
were at the South
Islands?
Pole.
Yeah. Yep, the perfect place for a birthday ball.
So, through Sokka's overly long narration over, you guessed it, stock photos, we learn a lot of lore that really should have been said at the beginning of chapter 1. So, it's revealed how the Water Tribes became a monarchy. So,
Mhm.
you see, it's revealed here that the Water Tribes, who, as you remember, were for the most part mainly indirectly affected by the war by sheer virtue of like how distant they were. Like they were only attacked like a few times, and like the Earth Nation took the brunt of it.
Right.
So apparently the Water Tribes needed both the Earth Kingdom and the Fire Nation's help to reconstruct.
Okay.
And that reconstruction made them so strong that they decided to become a monarchy because um European cultural values, I guess.
Wait, so the Water Tribe decided to become a monarchy?
Yes, the Water Tribe apparently decided to become a monarchy.
Oh. Well, I don't think that's how that would work, you know. That's a huge leap. That's a huge leap, not only for like the Water Tribe culture, because it very much does not feel like a monarchy at all. So it's just kind of like a huge jump, like a huge unnecessary leap.
Yeah, like Korra has the tribes working together, like the northern tribe like controls the southern tribe, but as far as I recall, they were still like the guy in charge was still like the chief. He wasn't the
Hmm.
king.
Right. So still the chief,
Yeah.
but it's basically a monarchy.
Yeah.
It's like a tribe in name only at this point.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's also revealed that Zuko's father, Ozai, was
Mhm.
executed,
Oh,
which makes sense.
yeah.
But Azula was banished, and Aang took her lightning bending away. Not her whole
Oh.
bending, although they retcon it later so that it was the whole bending. Just the lightning part. And they're like, so she can't use the lightning against us if she comes back for a surprise, which, like, I don't think that was the biggest threat Azula posed, but okay.
Don't worry. If she ever decides to attack us again, she will be down one bending ability. Still a firebender.
Still a firebender, still like a master tactician and brilliant
Yeah.
manipulator. But no, it was the lightning bending. That was her big edge. Without that, she's toothless.
Yeah, that lightning bending. That's what made her such a threat,
Mhm.
you know?
And and Sokka says he can understand Why Zuko exiled Azula, since Sokka can't picture condemning my own flesh and blood to death. Which ignores the fact that like a paragraph earlier, he said that Ozai got executed.
Yeah,
Ozai being
wait.
Zuko's dad.
That's just, yeah, no, that doesn't add up.
After that lore dump, Sokka recounts the opening of the birthday ball over more stock photos, which is just more tell don't show.
Right.
And it's stated that Aang is the only airbender showing up because the air nomads are still few, which makes sense. And this is basically the last time the revived air nomads are ever going to be mentioned.
Ah.
You thought that idea might have been interesting, that they were going to explore that as like a story beat?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
That actually seems like an interesting idea. Can we explore this more?
No, not allowed.
Oh, fuck.
We then awkwardly segue back into exposition about the setting. That was just a little detour, I guess. So, Sokka's dad and Katara's dad didn't want to be king, and so instead, Gran, and Paku are the king and queen of the water tribes because they are, quote, oldest and wise of their clans.
This feels wrong. I don't like the reasoning behind that.
I think that just sums up how I became yours as a whole. It just feels wrong. Incorrect.
It's just it's like it almost starts to make sense, but then they explain the reasoning and I'm like, okay, this is stupid again.
Sokka says he and Katara must step up as the future king and queen. Which is weird because they're brother and sister. But don't worry, that part will get weirder later.
Fuck.
Sokka notes that all of the characters have grown when really they just aren't acting like their canon selves.
Yeah.
Like, especially Toph. She's nothing like she is in the show. And I'm sorry, there's just no way to explain that even with a 3-year time difference.
Yeah, no, all these characters sound pretty out of character in to varying degrees. Like some are like somewhat in character, but then they got like backstory changes that just messes with it.
Yeah.
And then some are just completely different characters.
Katara's got a good heart according to Sokka, and that quote makes her beauty that more beautiful to gaze upon.
A good heart, you know. I could say that about 80% of the people in the world.
I don't know, 80's a bit high.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Like 70.
Yeah, 75.
75%. Yeah.
And you can tell I'm starting to lose my mind already, because the next note is party time. It's party time. Everybody is it's party time.
Oh, you're just now starting to lose your mind? I mean, by you describing this, I think my mind's already like out the window.
Oh, good. Make sure it stays there, because it only gets worse from here.
Yay.
Katara's so impressed with the ball's look that she can't believe Toph is blind. Ha ha ha! Funny joke.
The amount of time. See, there were blind jokes in Avatar, but they were good.
Yeah.
They were actually clever.
It helps that Toph was making most of the jokes herself.
Yeah. This just feels mean.
It does.
Oh, wow, you designed this all by yourself, even though you're blind? Wow, this is a good job for someone who's blind.
I mean, I would not have expected someone who's blind to have done so much work like this. I mean, God, sometimes I forget how blind you are.
God, that just feels so mean.
It's funny how potentially sensitive jokes come off as extremely inconsiderate when someone who is not a good writer tries to make them.
Right. Damn. That's just, yeah. I now hate Katara even
You're gonna hate
more.
her more. Toph asked Katara after this comment if the tough, fearless sugar queen she knew is still within her. That's right, we're bringing the sugar queen thing back for some reason.
Okay, never mind. I hate Toph more.
Toph gives Katara a pep talk for a speech and then says they should get drunk. So this is a real continuity cavalcade right here.
Right.
So the guests of the party are, you know, I hope you're not expecting the guests of this party to be any reasonable characters that would show up to Katara's birthday.
Oh no.
So among the guests at Katara's party are the secret tunnel guys,
Oh my god, the
who
secret tunnel guys.
admittedly, it's stated that they're Sokka's guests, which makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Next is King Boomy, which makes sense.
Oh yeah, that makes
Then
sense.
Sokka's Swordmaster, which also makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Lee is there,
Mm-hmm.
and she's literally only there to mention that Sokka and Suki broke up because it was a long distance relationship.
Ah.
Aang's guru from season 2 is there, which would make sense if Katara was still in love with Aang. But because in the How I Became Yours universe, they never got together or seemed to have any romantic feelings for each other, it doesn't make sense for him to be here now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, why is he here?
Then
Uh,
also Beto is here. That was like their dad's friend from season 1, so that
Dad's
makes
friend
sense.
from season 1. I think I remember him vaguely.
Yeah, he wasn't that big of a character,
Yeah, yeah.
but it still makes sense for him to be here.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
Then we have the fortune teller lady from season 1.
Oh, her.
Yeah, her, that one-off character.
The one-off character.
And
Wow.
the only reason she's here is to be like, I'm never wrong, Katara. I think you'll end up with Zuko after all.
Oh, was that a prediction she made?
I don't remember the exact prediction, but based on what a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, said when I was telling him about this, she made the prediction of something like, "Oh, you'll marry someone very powerful one day," which could be
Okay.
taken to mean either Aang or Zuko.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Well, then this author was really grasping at straws here.
Yeah. And most ridiculously of all, this just does not make any sense at all. The anteater tracker lady is here.
Wait. Who was that again?
That was the bounty hunter lady who rode the giant anteater.
Yo, oh my god, I forgot she was a character.
Of course you
Oh,
would. She only appears in 1.25 episodes, but she's present at Katara's birthday party and talks like they're old friends for some reason.
damn. You know, it's weird. She made such a huge impression when she first appeared that I legit thought she appeared later in the series.
Oh,
And
she
now I'm.
did.
Did she?
Yeah, she appears for like 10. She appears in like 5 scenes in the series finale.
Okay, because see, like,
Because
I still remember her.
mhm,
Just like,
Zuko hires her to like try and find Aang when he disappears.
but I'm just now realizing that they did like nothing with her.
Yeah, they did absolutely nothing with her. There's no reason for her to be at this party.
Oof.
Like at least in the season 1 fortune teller lady had like a positive interaction with Katara. The
Mhm.
only time Katara has ever really like met this lady is when she was trying to like capture her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
The
that's
art
kind of an awkward invitation, you know?
the art really starts to like reach its nadir here. Like it was always bad, but I think this is the point where Diaz really like gives up
All right, show
cuz
me. Show me.
cuz okay.
Just let's go. I just need to see this.
Okay, well, the image in itself isn't so bad. It's just, okay, it's bad.
Oh my god! Okay, you know what this looks like? This looks like just one of those like um what is it? The fashion like
Yeah,
apps like
yeah, yeah. The
that
fact,
you'd get
like
on like your phone
like
and
the
like
digital doll things.
yeah, that's what this looks like. It
Uh-huh.
just wow. It gets the character models get stiffer and stiffer every time I
The
look
word
at
The worst part about this, though, is that this is the point where Diaz gives up trying to like make each panel look unique. So every time Katara meets with a new guest, she just has the exact same pose and face. This face, this specific drawing, is copy and pasted like 8 times, maybe more.
um wait, so this specific drawing is just
Mm-hmm.
like reused.
Yep.
Oh no.
And it's just done, and it's the same for the other characters too. They only have like one image that Diaz is tracing from. So it's just these long dialogue scenes with reverse shot of them looking exactly the same.
Wow. She put a lot of time and effort into this.
So Ong arrives at the party, and Katara tells Toph, "Go get him, girly."
Oh my god, that's so bad.
Ong and Toph meet at the center of the ball and immediately declare their love for each other. Like, there's no, like, awkwardness. She just runs into his arms and he's like, "Toph, I love you so much. And I love you. And I love you too, Ong." And it's just like, they're so in love. So they're now in a relationship and will face no further obstacles for pretty much the entire rest of the series in their relationship. They're just in love forever. That's it.
Right.
This is only chapter 2 of like 5.
Oh no.
Yeah, of 5 plus epilogue. This is only chapter 2, and one of the 3 main couples has now just been permanently established. That fast.
Damn. Oh
Katara
wow.
is happy for Toph,
Mhm.
noting, "What is Earth without sky, anyway?"
Yeah.
Time passes, everyone is now getting drunk. Zuko arrives, which Toph knows about first, because, Daredevil powers. And
Hmm.
she exclaims, "Oh my agony! I know those footsteps! His here!"
What?
Agni, as in Agni Kai.
Agni?
It made me
What?
wonder, and as far as I can tell, in this universe, Agni is the Fire Nation god is the god of the Fire Nation slash the first Fire Lord? Like Talos from Skyrim, basically?
Right. Yeah.
it it's pointlessly confusing and unfortunately is very relevant to the story.
Hmm.
Why Toph exclaims the name of an Fire Nation god is unclear. But anyway, his here.
Is here.
His
Damn.
here.
That has to be a new meme format.
Honestly,
Normally I'm not one of those people who are like this has to be a meme, but like damn, this has to be a meme.
okay, Aisha Taylor. You get that reference now. I showed you the Ubisoft press conference.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, to be fair, Toph's face in this image does look a bit like a troll face.
Yeah, it really does. It's like if I didn't know that the author was not this aware at all of like what she was writing, I would kind of feel like she did this purposely.
Sadly, no. All of her like DeviantArt comic comments were basically like denying any criticism.
That's just wow. Either this is a very dedicated troll account or yeah, no self-awareness whatsoever.
So, his here. Zuko arrives, and he and Katara immediately run up to each other and kiss. The art in the scene breaks the 180-degree rule by having Katara and Zuko run towards the same direction, so it looks like they're running away from each other. Also, the background is just a stock photo of a bunch of Avatar cosplayers in a like room at a convention.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. Wait a minute. This is a completely different style.
Yeah, it's just a stock photo. Those are real people.
I
Faces
know.
unblurred, by the way.
It's just like, what? Like even the models look different. Like
Hmm.
can't even if you're gonna copy and trace art, at least trace the same art. Like,
Well, that will actually be a problem because as I mentioned before, she does do some tracings from Bleach,
oh.
especially with Zuko towards the end. So Zuko's gonna look like completely different in the later half of this story.
Uh,
So they kiss, and then Iro and Sword Guy are looking down, and Sword Guy is like, "Love is beautiful because there's no fear," and Iro is like, "This is like my worst Uncle Iroh impression ever. No, it's beautiful because it is scary, but they do it anyway." So then they make out.
wow.
It's a sweet scene. Hooray. And then with no transition of any kind, we are now outside, and Katara is yelling at Zuko for being a deadbeat jerk who didn't talk to her for 3 years.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, and it is just
yeah.
that sudden. There is no, like one page they're kissing, making out, and then the next page they're just standing on a pier at night, yelling at each other.
Hmm. What an amazing relationship. Very healthy. I could see it lasting for 20 years.
I can see this lasting for like 5 chapters plus an epilogue.
Oh, yeah. Who
So
knows? You know, I'll bet on 6. I'll bet on 6 chapters.
uh, Zuko calmly explains to Katara that Mai was responsible for everything. Like, Zuko literally had no idea that any of this was going on. Like, he just didn't know. So, you know.
He just didn't know, you know? He was the new Fire Lord and was just so out of the loop on everything.
But in doing so, he claims that Mai's actions, which as far as Zuko knows right now, is
Yeah.
just messing up his relationship with Katara, are worse than both his sister and his father. His father, who, if you'll remember, tried to commit genocide.
Ah, yes. That's totally worse.
So, Mai is the villain in this piece, and she is a pretty bad person in this universe for reasons that will be revealed dramatically later, but nowhere does she ever get even remotely close to, outright genocide.
Oh, yeah.
So Katara tells Zuko that she miscarried, and then blames Zuko for the miscarriage because she had a broken heart. Because we're doing the Padme bullshit.
Oh, God. I was about to say, isn't that the same shit that, like, the prequels pulled?
Yes, but this time it's reversed. This time the baby dies from a broken heart instead of the mom.
Stupid.
It's so stupid.
That's a
Borderline misogynistic.
metaphor. That's a metaphor. That's not a literal thing that happened.
So Zuko keeps saying sorry over and over again for stuff that honestly he's only mildly responsible for. And, eventually this does get through to Katara, and the two make up. Katara tells him, "The moon and the ocean know how long I have been waiting for you to say this to me." And then they kiss. And then, without any transition, we get a sex scene.
Why? This I know this is fan fiction, but wow, this is so unnecessarily complicated. You know, did you really have to go through all of this just to make your like ship a thing? Did you really
welcome,
have to do that?
welcome to the Avatar shipping fandom, circa 2005, Sam.
It's just This is so many extra steps. So many. We're only finished with the second chapter?
This is only the second chapter.
Oh god.
And during this sex scene, there's a bunch of weird metaphors. The one I eked out the most was he's saying my name la as before. He's saying my name just better than before. Ugh, deeper than before. So
Is that supposed to be a puberty joke? I hope it isn't.
hope it isn't either. Oh my god.
That's so messed up.
So Zuko and Katara are a couple now, and will only face minor inconveniences in their relationship throughout the story. Like, there will be conflict, but it will never be about their relationship at all. Like, their relationship will just be fine. Same with Toph and Aang, and same with the third ship. And it's really clear that Diaz, despite like writing this as a romance story, doesn't actually care about romantic tension or like the actual storytelling of the romance. She only cares about the romance itself.
Oh yeah, that's just so apparent. It's like
Yeah.
she cares more about her characters ending up together
Mm-hmm.
rather than like exploring their relationship dynamic and
Yeah, and it's all
how
like
they would
goo goo.
function as a couple.
Yeah,
You
and it's all
know,
like goo goo gaga. We're always hugging each other, kind of love. It's just a really juvenile idea of what love and relationships are.
yeah, and that's fine in like small doses, but when you
Mhm.
write an entire, I'm guessing 5 chapter story on
Yeah,
this, it's a bit much. It
and
really is.
it really is. And it'd be one thing if this was coming from like a teenager, because
Yeah,
this is what teenagers think love is, and that's okay. They're teenagers.
right.
It's but this came from a grown woman. She was not a
Yeah,
teenager when she made this. She was at least in her 20s.
yeah, that's oof. Oof.
So, two of the three like pillar couples of this book are down, and they won't really have any real romantic development for the rest of the series.
Yeah,
So that leaves us with a question. Who's going to carry this book for the next 3 chapters?
who is?
Enter Chapter 3, A Dragon's Redemption.
A dragon's redemption?
A Dragon's Redemption.
Can we get some dragons in here? Because, like,
Yes, please kill us.
just to kill everyone in this book. I'm pretty sure this is not canon at this point. We might as well just destroy
we've
this.
moved well past canon, my friend.
Like, yes, it's very clear. None of this is canon. Thank God.
Yeah,
Like,
this is why I'm glad the creators of Avatar went with their backup plan of Korra and not this.
say what you want about Legend of Korra. It is way better than this.
Oh yeah, I have plenty to say about Legend of Korra, but this? No, this is garbage. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn.
So we're back in the Earth Kingdom. Well, we've always been in the Earth Kingdom. We never leave the Earth Kingdom. The Earth Kingdom is everywhere. It's omnipresent.
Yes, that's right, because it's the best
Mhm.
kingdom. Why would you ever want to leave it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Nadazula awakens without her memories and is now a completely different, much lamer character. Like
Oh,
Katara and Toph, she's now just a vapid, generic goody girl who giggles all the time and wears pretty dresses. And I'm not exaggerating with the giggling either. Like pretty much every other dialogue box includes asterisk giggling asterisk, and it's so fucking annoying after like the 8th time.
that's. Oh my God.
And it's mostly the female characters who do it because of course
That's.
it is.
Yeah. Like, come on. This is Azula.
No,
She
it's
had
not.
it.
It's not Azula.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not
that's right.
Azula.
It's not Azula. That's
But
right.
even still.
Yeah, that's right. Not Azula.
Not Azula, now with her mask off, is attended to by the Suki handmaid, who tells her she has nice almond skin and orange eyes, which comes off as a little racist, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a weird. Okay, weird descriptor.
And Not Azula is in her underwear during this scene, and it looks horrifying because
I
she's so unnaturally thin.
am I gonna regret looking at this? Yep, I regret looking at this. God fucking damn it. Okay.
And this is true for all of the female characters. They're all weirdly overly thin, while all the male characters are overly jacked.
I hate this.
It's very uncomfortable.
Riley, I hate all this. I hate this. I
My
hate
dad
this.
did too when I read it to him.
Why would you read this to your dad?
We like bad things.
I would not show anyone related to me this.
So, Not Azula, thankfully fully clothed, wanders the estate, but is then held at sword point by Sokka. And yes, Sokka has his sword back now. Don't ask questions. Also, Sokka now has Leonardo DiCaprio hair, which he will maintain throughout the entire rest of the story. Like early Leonardo DiCaprio, like Titanic era Leonardo DiCaprio hair.
Interesting choice, but okay.
Not Azula is confused and is literally crying because Sokka is pointing a sword at her. And then Sokka reveals that Not Azula is, drumroll, Azula!
No, really. I can't not believe this. I cannot believe that not Azula was Azula all along.
Now, how the Handmaiden didn't recognize the former Fire Nation princess slash Fire Lord who single-handedly captured the capital of the Earth Kingdom is beyond me.
It's because of the mask.
Well, she had the mask off.
Oh, she did? Well, yeah.
Yeah. So she had full view of her face, and she just didn't recognize Azula somehow.
Probably because she was so poorly drawn.
Yeah, that's it.
That tends to happen, you know.
So Sokka shouts at her, "Speak, villain!" and then informs Azula of her crimes, which horrifies her. Toph, however, comes in and informs Sokka that Azula is telling the truth. Toph is confident in her abilities, despite Azula having been demonstrated to be able to beat Toph's lie detecting before.
Hmm.
Also, Sokka is now Azula's guardian because he brought her here in the first place. Because the romantic novel tropes.
Yeah. Damn.
Azula awkwardly runs across the Azula awkwardly runs across the grass, like, just full wax model, very stiff pose mode, crying
Awkwardly?
about her. Awkwardly.
How awkwardly are we talking here?
I think it's literally the same pose as when Katara was running.
I think I missed that one. But I
It was-
imagine it's awful, you know.
It was the one where it broke the 180-degree rule, the one in the
That
with
one.
all the cosplayers in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Hey,
And
really quick, can I take a 5-minute break?
oh, sure, go ahead.
Okay, 5-minute break starting now.
Yay.
5 minutes later.
So while you were gone, Azula was crying as she was running, which she is
Yeah.
going to do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Azula then feeds some turtle ducks, which, in a truly stunning dedication to the incompetence of How I Became Yours, are not just like traces of the turtle ducks from the show. No, it is a Photoshop of a duckling with a tortoise shell photoshopped on its back.
Wait, why? Again, this is like so many extra steps. You had turtle ducks available
Yeah.
on the show. Why did you? Were you trying to go for a real life effect? Because this art says otherwise.
It's just, it has to be intentional. It's a weird style choice, but it's an awful one.
Yeah, it just feels really awful.
So Katara goes to comfort Azula. Azula says that people used to call her the dragon, which, to my knowledge, she has never been called once in either the show or the comic, but here we go.
Oh, okay. So another made-up nickname. Fun.
Katara basically says that the reason she's not immediately dismissing Azula is because she already went through a redemption arc with Zuko, which, as poorly written as it is actually a nice detail and like makes sense.
Okay.
It is a realistic way to go there, so I'll give
Okay.
Diaz that at least.
All right.
So Toph tells Zuko, Ong, and Iroh about this, and they are naturally horrified to learn that Azula is present at the Beifong estate, which is rendered in equally horrifying fashion.
Oh no. What am I about
And
to see? Oh, what is this? Ah! What? Azula's here? What?
this is where she starts tracing bleach, because Zuko looks noticeably different.
Yes, I was
He's
about to say.
this is where Zuko starts turning into the guy from Bleach. I think his name's Ichigo,
Oh, wow.
like the
Yeah.
Kamen Rider.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
I see
Toph,
the author has discovered bleach. It's a new art
she
form to
actually,
trace.
well, actually, it's funny you mentioned that. She was actually running a Bleach fan comic at the same time, which, you guessed it, just used tracings and real life stock photos as backgrounds.
Oh, okay. It's a two-timer. I see. Two-time
So,
art tracer.
I
The worst
mean, double
offense.
dipper.
The worst art crime offense.
She's just racking up all the comic crimes.
Yeah. It's just damn. Still at large.
Toph explains the situation by reiterating literally everything we have already seen, because Tell Don't Show is in full effect.
Oh, I just love when they do that. That's just fun.
Ong is just very much against the idea of Azula being redeemed, seeing her as a psycho, which is extremely out of character for Ong, you know, the guy who went out of his way to not kill Ozai.
Yeah, at the same time, I don't blame him.
I don't blame him, but it's still out of
It,
character for him.
yeah, I feel like you could have had another character do this instead, would make a bit
Yeah.
more sense.
Iro knows about the poison and gives the exact same word for word description that Soka gave like 2 chapters ago, or maybe a chapter
Hmm.
ago. It was a chapter ago. Time has no meaning anymore.
Yeah.
But he does give the extra detail that the poison kills firebenders by freezing them.
By freezing them.
By freezing them.
Just
Not just
freezing them.
Yeah, not just spiritually or metaphorically, but also like physically and literally. So it's literally freezing them from the inside. That's how this poison works.
Okay.
Now, this is a really cool poison, but it's questionable how that would cause memory loss or how flushing the blood through bloodbending would help with your body freezing.
Yeah, that's extreme.
Extreme with 3 X's.
3 X's. Not an E at all, just
Nope.
3 X's.
Zuko and Ong come up with like a bunch of overcomplicated plans that Azula could have done as a part of this, like erasing her memory to infiltrate the estate, or just pretending to be amnesiac or something. These
Hmm.
are overcomplicated and ridiculous, but they're also in character with the super smart and technical Azula.
Yes.
But, you know, canon left a long time ago, so these are just dismissed offhand as being too
It's
ridiculous.
funny because the things they're like guessing as to what she's doing make more sense for Azula's character than just her having amnesia. It's just like, why didn't you do any of these?
Because
They-
then Azula couldn't be a lovey-dovey girl.
That's stupid. You just ruined the character.
You did. You literally ruined Azula.
That's just like Azula's one of the best characters to come out of that show, and like you ruined her.
Yeah, like any that literally all of the things that people liked about Azula just are gone now.
That's just yeah. Oh my god. I can't believe you ruined one of the few great like female villains in animation.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
So Iro comes around and notes that it's strange that Azula was outside Toph's estate. And so it's theorized that she might have learned about an attack on Toph or something, and that's why she was attacked to like silence her.
Mm.
This is very wrong. And Azula's poisoning will not only have nothing to do with Toph at all, it also makes no sense for this to happen in the Earth Kingdom.
Yeah. I mean, if the Earth Kingdom is like as grand and glorified as it is here, why would anyone poison her?
In the Earth Kingdom.
In
Like
the
poison her in
Earth
one of those dirty
Kingdom.
other nations. Not the
Literally
Earth Kingdom.
heaven on Avatar Earth. S-
It's funny you mention that because that's going to become a big metaphor in a bit.
Oh god.
So
See,
it's
why do I keep accidentally predicting things? That's not good. I hate
so
this ability I have.
this is your mutant power. You could just predict.
No.
You can predict the plot developments of terrible media.
Damn it, I got a bad mutant power. Really bad.
So next we get a montage that's just narrated by Katara. And it's going to be montages that do the heavy lifting of Azula's redemption arc,
Mm.
which sucks to the extreme and just continues to demonstrate that Diaz has a complete aversion to conflict and actual storytelling.
Yeah, also a montage in a webcomic? How are you gonna make that work?
You don't.
Yeah, it's just
You just
how?
don't.
You can't do that. I'm sure a more clever webcomic writer could do that, but everything we've seen of Diaz just says otherwise.
Azula's amnesia apparently also affected her education and skills because the gang has to like teach her and tutor her.
Okay, it's amnesia, not like
It's not brain damage.
yeah, it doesn't start you back to square one. It's just like and also it's temporary for most cases. What's gonna
So
happen when the amnesia goes
I
away?
don't think it ever does.
Yeah, it probably doesn't, because
Then she'd
bad
be a good character
webcomics.
again.
Yeah, then she'd be a good character, and
But we can't have that.
Diaz just has the natural ability of ruining good characters.
The power she shares with Chuck Austin.
Yeah. Oh,
So
we gotta cover that sometime.
we do eventually, especially since that dude does actually have a legit redemption arc.
Yes. Oh, we'll save that.
Azula is having bad dreams, which are rendered as just slightly pitch shifted screenshots from the show.
Hmm.
Like they're literally just screenshots from the show with like a sepia filter over them.
Ah,
And
great.
she cries over these, and I wrote here she's probably crying because she knows she could be in a better story.
I'm sorry, that's too accurate. That is too accurate.
Azula plays
Oh.
games with Iro. Katara is worried if Azula will smile sinisterly again, and hopes that her new friendships will, quote, keep the beast that sleeps in her sleeping forever.
Oh no. She better not smile sinisterly.
Sokka
That'd be terrible.
reads bedtime stories to her like she's a 5-year-old. And
Okay,
this
now,
is
now this is just insulting. This is just insulting at this point.
and this is apparently romantic as Sokka starts falling for her.
I'm sorry?
Yes, the third and arguably most important pairing in this romantic story is Sokka x Azula.
I hate this. Also, how does Sokka just look nothing like Sokka?
He's probably another Bleach trace over at this point.
It feels like it. It's got the anime hair.
That's a Leonardo DiCaprio hair.
Yeah, the Leonardo DiCaprio hair. And it's just, yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, it's horrible. And so yeah, so he falls for her, and keep in mind, I know you're not big into the Avatar shipping scene as it was
Apparently
in the early
not.
2000s, but let me
Apparently
tell
I've
you,
fingered like half of them by now.
this is not a ship. Like, this was never a popular ship that people were clamoring for.
Okay, it better not have, because like
it wasn't. This was not a Catra Adora situation with like friends to lovers say or anything. Like, no. This was never a ship that anyone was on about.
yeah, no, that would have been bad.
No one was dying on this ship. So
Yeah.
the first montage is over.
Mhm.
Azula is now sitting on a tree branch. She's wearing a full dress, so it's unclear how she actually managed to climb up onto that tree branch.
Yeah, I
And
imagine that'd be kind of difficult, but not impossible.
not impossible, but she apparently like doesn't even know how to read anymore. So
Oh, yeah, that's right. How did you get up there?
how did you get up there?
Is your amnesia going away? Please? Please go away.
No, just leave the story, please. You have no reason to be here. So, because she's a girl, she's making a flower wreath and thinking about Sokka when you know it, a shirtless Sokka walks underneath her, and he is uncomfortably ripped.
This is demoralizing. For both characters. This is just
Yeah, this is just like insulting, like a real embarrassment.
it's just wow. Diaz must absolutely hate Azula like so much.
And Suki.
Yeah, both of them. She must hate both of those characters so much. I just no, that's bad.
Sokka, cursed with the strange inability to look up, blabs about how he wants to take Azula to see the cherry blossoms because anime, but also goes on to note that she's more beautiful than the blossoms.
Aww.
And yes, you're hearing this right. The majority of Sokka falling in love with Azula happens mostly off screen.
Yay.
Because who needs conflict or tension or writing when we could just have characters suck each other's faces?
See, I'm glad you read through this and are telling me because in most cases, I think a secondhand account is maybe not the best way of getting the full experience, but here I think it's actually helping because I think I'd be so lost if I read this.
Your mind would be like trying to avoid showing you it. So all the pages would look blank.
I'm concerned about you, Riley. Are you okay? Like
I'm okay now. It took me
you're okay now.
It took me a day or two to recover, honestly.
Oh no. Are you sure you don't have amnesia?
But I will say, when I was dumping all of this on our mutual friend, I broke him. Like, he had a mental breakdown.
See, I'm sure what mutual friend you're referring to, and that is hard to do.
It is really hard. The only other time it's ever really happened is Fateful Findings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, damn. That was a whole group collective breakdown. God.
Iconic movie. Won't be talking about it here because it's too iconic.
Oh, yeah, it's too iconic for this. We only talk about the bottom of the barrel here.
We only talk about the really obscure stuff. So Sokka wonders what Azula is wearing, and then the branch Azula's on like breaks off and falls, despite it being thicker than her entire weird stick body.
Okay. Must
And
have
then
been
it's
a dead tree. Damn.
and then it's the woman landing on top of guy in semi-sexual pose romantic comedy cliche. Ha ha laugh.
Oh my god, the art is getting worse. It's getting worse. Every image you show me, it just gets worse in a new way. Like, there has been gradual decline in art quality, but every screenshot you show me is like a whole new level of degradation. Just, what is this?
Well, it's Azula falling on top of Sokka and then the two blushing.
And you know the worst part about this is if
What?
I didn't know this was an Avatar fanfic, I would have no idea who these characters are.
I can't blame you. Yeah.
It's like nothing defining about the characters are even here anymore.
Yeah,
It's just
even what's defining about the setting, their fashion looks completely anachronistic with what's been in the setting.
right. It's just this is so bad. I hate this.
This really just looks like a generic anime-inspired webcomic.
It really does. It just takes away all the charm that Avatar had.
So, yeah.
Damn.
So, this is the part where the pages got a bit out of order. It showed the Katara and Zuko sex scene from chapter 2, like right here.
Well, just keep burping.
And how dare you? How
I
dare?
know. I know. Weird time to bring that up.
And so, what actually, it's been 3 months basically. That whole montage where they were falling in love and met Azula took about 3 months.
3 months.
So keep that in mind. Keep that very in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So this means that that three monarchs and the Avatar have just been chilling in Toph's estate, literally not doing anything besides eating and having petty teenage personal drama for 3 months, and no one has cared.
I mean, where else are you gonna have petty teenage drama?
Not the Fire Nation.
Yeah, not the
That-
Fire Nation.
That literal garbage fire. No, the Earth Kingdom's where it's at.
Yeah, the Earth Kingdom's where the party's at.
So Katara and Zuko are in bed now, and we flash back, and as they're in bed, we flash back to the show timeline, where Zuko reveals in flashback that in the Fire Nation, people show their love for each other by marking them, as in branding them with their fire bending.
Okay, this is I don't think that's an in-canon thing.
So they just like brand their personal sigil on whoever they're in love with.
How about no?
Which
Can
not only
we not do that?
well, it'd make more sense if they didn't, because not only does it make divorce a pain, it also casts a lot of questions on Zuko and Mai's relationship.
Yeah.
Did they not do the branding thing? Did Mai never bring up that they never did the branding thing? How does divorce work if you just brand each other? Like, do they cut that piece of skin off?
That would be bad. Maybe it's like tattoo removal surgery, except for branding. Just
So
I don't know how you'd remove that. You'd remove it.
So all of that completely out of nowhere backstory is just to say that Zuko has marked Katara with his like personal brand, and that shows how in love they are.
Mm-hmm.
The art shows that Katara's mark is very visibly on the top of her left breast, and she like wears a bunch of like cleavage revealing outfits, as does every female character in this series. So
Right.
like that should be visible throughout the entire story. But naturally, because this is this comic, this is the first and only time the marks are either mentioned or even seen.
Okay. Not surprising.
You could literally remove the whole dumb branding thing from the story, and it would only make more sense. This adds nothing to anything.
Yeah, I could do without knowing that that's how Fire Nation relationships work.
So Zuko tells Katara that he doesn't want to see Azula yet for obvious reasons.
Right.
Katara tells Zuko that Azula is crying all the time, which she frames as a positive change. Which,
How?
okay.
I don't think that would be a positive thing.
And then we immediately cut back to Azula and Sokka. There's some awkward banter, but Azula agrees to go to the cherry blossoms with Sokka. Katara and Azula have some girl talk about the previous scene, basically about how oh, you fell on Sokka. That's so embarrassing for you. Hee 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 ha ha, giggle giggle. And I wrote here, this comic absolutely failed the Bechdel test.
Yeah, no, it definitely failed that.
It's weird because this comic is so weirdly misogynistic, but it's written by a woman.
I mean, that doesn't mean shit. Like,
It does to an extent. Jeez.
women can be misogynistic too.
I'm aware.
Yeah, yeah. It's messed up regardless. Just yeah.
So Azula is afraid to commit to a relationship with Sokka because of her baggage, but
Mhm.
also because of there being traditions against quote mixing the elements, which doesn't make sense according to either the original series or Korra. But sure, whatever. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, it's just whatever Diaz wants it to be at
It,
this
it
point.
It especially doesn't matter because this story runs on the logic of love is the most important thing, nothing else matters. And
Yeah.
every character in this story runs at that logic. So the
Mhm.
whole anti-race mixing metaphor is just a minor inconvenience to these guys. It never keeps them from doing anything.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. I feel
Yeah,
like they should make that part of the conflict a bit more if they're gonna go on that, you know?
they do later, but it's basically just lip service.
Yeah, it really does feel like lip service.
And so Korra give not Korra, Katara give that's a good show. Katara gives
Yeah.
Azul. Well, I'm gonna eat a little bit of a burger. Oh
Gonna eat a burger.
no.
One
So
bite will save your sanity.
Katara gives Azula a makeover because of course she does because girls.
My God.
And Azula is supposed to be impressed, but the art is so bad that she looks terrified or horrified.
What? What?
She's just
Again,
oh.
the art just gets more worse. Like every image you show me, it just gets worse. It's bad. Wow.
So, we cut to Toph and Sokka, where they do some funny banter, hee hee, but nothing happens.
Hmm.
There's the romantic comedy cliche of guy sees girl made up and is stunned. Then Sokka and Azula row down a stock photo of a river,
Yeah.
and as written here, it's so painfully bad that it's overwhelming the cringe centers of my brain.
I'm just like the the reaction I'm having is Zula's reaction in this image. Just
Yeah.
I'm just so baffled. I
Yeah.
can barely process any of this. I don't know
And
how much longer I could do this. We gotta
we're
do this. We're almost through, I think.
we're almost through. We're almost at the end of chapter 3, and there's only 2 more chapters after this.
There we go.
So there isn't actually a lot that happens on this date.
Mhm.
That's not to say it's a good scene at all. It's terrible. It's just boilerplate, bland, romantic dialogue you could find in a Harlequin book, if not
Yeah.
2 notches below it.
Mhm.
So they talk about Azula's dreams, one of which includes Zuko and her mom. And then Soko's like, everyone has got dreams and a past filled with memories. So deep. Soka
Cool.
truly has become a poet.
Thanks, Soka.
Thanks, Soka.
Thank you for that info.
So according to Soka, after that, a soldier fights for someone else's beliefs, while a warrior fights for his own. Which could be a cool piece of dialogue if Diaz was at all a competent writer, or if that had anything to do with anything else happening in the comic.
Yeah, it sounds like she just kind of found that quote somewhere and she's like, let me put this in my Avatar fan webcomic.
She's like, can I be Kojima?
Yeah.
No? Well, I'll still try.
Well, who's going to stop her at this point?
Kojima.
Yeah, please, Kojima.
And then it starts raining. So the two of them run under a tree and start having sex out in the open during a torrential thunderstorm.
I thought they were just gonna like kiss under a tree or something. No, they're actually just okay.
Yeah, they're actually doing that in a thunderstorm.
Damn. Take that, Notebook.
As you can imagine, this is the worst sex scene.
I would like to not imagine it. Probably looks awful.
It does. Azula throws out, and through every sex scene, like the female characters are like narrating, and in this case, Azula just throws out a bunch of different sex metaphors, like not feeling alive until now, the two of them becoming one, etc. But the weirdest one, though, is her equating sex to dying.
Yo, wasn't this about Katara a few chapters ago?
It was literally about Katara one chapter ago. But for the rest of the story, it's mostly going to be about Azula and Sokka.
Damn. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I miss when it was about Katara.
The golden age of this comic.
I don't think it's going to ever reach another peak.
You're right, it's not.
It's all downhill. And
Diaz
it was already at the bottom of the hill. We found a new hill.
they found a new hill at the bottom.
Yeah.
Diaz is putting black text on black background, so it's like hard to read. But what is legible is absolute garbage, like absolute dumpster fire statements, like "my insides cried for him."
Ew. That's disgusting.
And that's it. That's the entirety of Azula and Sokka's romantic arc.
That's how you end it. Just my insides are crying out to him. That's what? That's okay. I think that summarizes this chapter, honestly.
There's no like further romantic development on their side. All the conflict is external.
I see.
And in chapter 4, we finally get a plot.
There's plot?
Barely, but there is one.
There's one plot. Mm-hmm. Just one.
Just the one.
Just a singular plot.
Yep.
No B plot or anything.
Nope.
One plot in one chapter. This chapter 4. Well, okay.
It's a plot that carries over into chapters 4 and 5, but 5 is really short, while 4 is really long, so...
Oh, boy.
So, we're reaching the tipping point here with chapter 4 of Viper's Vendetta.
Okay. I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, okay. That's... I
You can't hurt me more.
Yeah. I'm like at the point where I'm just like, yeah, I'm just, yeah, it broke me.
So we're in the Fire Nation now. You know, that crappy garbage nation.
Yeah, the bad nation. We've already been over that.
Maya's met in her chambers, where she still resides despite having been thrown out 2 chapters ago,
Right.
and she meets a guy named Sho. Sho is an assassin who refers to Maya as his baby sister. Now, Maya only has a younger brother in the show who is literally still a toddler.
Yeah.
So either Sho is an OC do not steal, or he's using a weird honorific system with Mai. That's what TV Tropes thinks. But considering everything else, it seems more likely that he's just, that he's just cold steal the Avatar do not steal.
I like how even TV Tropes is confused on what this character is.
Yeah.
Just not even the collective of everyone who's read this can figure out who this character is.
A lot of this comics TV Tropes page, which by the way is great because the people writing it know that it's bad. Like most of the tropes there are just them trying to figure out what's actually going on.
Like, is there anyone who read this who thinks it's good?
Yes, there are. Like hardcore Zutara shippers did, but only like the hardest of hardcore.
Oh, I'm so glad I didn't watch this back when it premiered. Or at least I'm glad I didn't have internet access back then.
Yes, thankfully I didn't get too drawn into the shipping wars because I wasn't huge into online stuff at the time.
Yeah.
I was just aware that they happened. So Maya and Sho decide to work together to kill Katara. Sho also reveals 2 other things. 1, Mai poisoned Katara and killed Kuzan.
Okay.
Yes, that fruit that Katara ate, it was like miscarriage poison.
Oh, that's right. You said you were gonna explain it.
Yes, miscarriage poison that acted immediately.
How? What was it? Cyanide? Like, I don't know what could kill you that quickly.
Not kill you. What could only kill your unborn child that
Right.
quickly?
Yeah, that's just damn. What have they discovered?
Maybe it's like special anti-water tribe poison where it like turns your blood into steam.
Yeah, that's right, because there's like anti-fire bender poison apparently that like freezes you. I guess, yeah, it would just be anti-water bender poison. It's just steam. It's a steam bath.
In your own blood. So then Mai reveals that she's also responsible for Azula's amnesia after Azula tried to blackmail Mai either about Kuzan's existence or her involvement in the miscarriage. It's not clear which. But it also puts a big question mark as to what either Mai or Azula were doing in the Earth Kingdom of all places.
Yeah, what were you doing there? I mean, Zuko apparently didn't go there for 3 years. What were you guys doing there?
Yeah, either that, I've written here, or Azula booked passage to the Earth Kingdom with a bleeding poisoned wound in her side and only succumbed to it when she got there.
Huh.
So either way, it doesn't make any sense.
As this whole thing does.
Yes, as it does.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the gang is sitting around a fire getting hella drunk. The only way Diaz knows how to write drunk people is to make them extend their words. So it'll be like, instead of hi, it'll be like, hi.
Hi.
It gets very annoying after the second time she does it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I wrote here, stop giggling.
Oh my god. Does she keep giggling?
Yes, all of the female characters just keep giggling all the time.
I hate this. It's just you ruined it. You ruined Avatar. Your fan comic ruined Avatar. Had Korra not come out, this would have been its legacy.
Oh my god, you're right.
How does that make you feel, Diaz?
I mean, she made 2 more, so probably not too bad.
Damn.
Spoilers for the epilogue, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Great, there's 2 more sequels.
So we awkwardly cut to Azula and Sokka in bed. Azula is crying, of course, and is unable to understand how anyone could forgive her because her crimes were so bad and she did such mean things and blah 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 blah.
I don't know,
Wine, wine.
apparently your amnesia is that bad that you're just a different character now.
The worst kind of amnesia.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't stress out about it too much. It was out of your control. So, yo, you got a new fresh start.
I mean, they say that, yeah, but that won't stop her from crying because it makes her such a heroic character.
It's just humble brag, you know?
Sokka explains to her that when Zuko was coming up with punishments for Azula and Ozai, he asked Sokka if Sokka could condemn his own sister. Sokka, of course, said no because Katara and Azula aren't even remotely alike.
Right? Well, in the show, yeah, they're not remotely alike.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling here they're pretty similar.
Well, they are after she got amnesia, but like, it's stated that her her pre-amnesia show personality is still canon. Like she was still a bad guy.
Yeah. Huh.
So
this is confusing.
Zuko took this advice to heart and only banished her instead of having her killed because she was the only family he had left besides his uncle. Now, this actually does track, and this behavior would actually be seen in the post-series comics.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an example of Diaz actually making a good read here.
Yeah.
But the way it's framed is still dumb.
Yeah, once again, congrats. Yeah, you kind of get it right. It's just you do it in the wrong way.
Azula is glad that Ozai is dead, but still sad. She doesn't want her memories and keeps apologizing to Sokka. We cut to Toph lying in bed and Aang standing over her.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. So Toph, I hope you're ready for this. This is the absolute worst this comic gets.
I'm not ready for it, but just lay it out.
So Toph is in a nightgown that has her nipples poking through.
Ew.
Which is, real classy. And hey, remember that Toph was only 13 in the original series, which means she's only 16 here, so this is really creepy and basically illegal.
I'd rather not hear about this.
So we have a close-up of Aang that shows his weird, overly plump lips.
Ew.
Aang decides to take Toph flying. Toph says that she used to be afraid of flying, despite having been an Appa for the entire series. She's still not afraid now, though, and is happy to feel, quote, light as air.
Light as air. Oh my god. It's an airbending pun.
Oh, just you fucking wait. Aang asks Toph to marry him with a necklace, and I am just going to repeat verbatim his entire speech. Toph, I may have spent most of this life space-time in the skies, but I feel at home when I'm on the ground. The earth is more beautiful to me than any sky I can fly in, because you are me. But loving you still makes me feel light as air. Let me be your air, you breath.
Why are they so stiff?
and let me be your skies that allow you to dream. Let me be the vast space all around you, always there around you. No more wondering if I am there. And please, I ask, let me come home to the ground where you have made me stand still. Because here, I am rooted and strong, and here I can rest. In you I ask this question. Toph Bifong, will you be my wife? No! Sadly, she says yes, however.
Okay. Okay. I'm just wow. This is it. This is the low point. This has to be the low point.
This is the lowest point, I think. Who knows? You may think differently, but in my personal opinion, this is the low point.
This has to be the worst. It's the worst monologue ever. It's so bad.
Toph is happy because Ong can, quote, walk through her walls and make her feel vulnerable.
God damn it.
She wants to be in, quote, this place where I was with him, between heaven and earth, because apparently the Avatar universe now is a concept of heaven.
Oh.
I just like the soft, defeated oh.
I'm so just broken at this point. We can continue, but wow.
Stay strong, Sam.
I'm trying.
It gets worse.
I'm really trying. I'm really trying.
Azara,
It's really hard, but I'm doing it. I'm trying.
I'm proud of you for
I'm
getting
not.
this far.
I'm not proud of myself.
Azula and Katara have another girl talk about Azula's date. Which, you know, typical, like, OMG, I can't believe you did that. Which transitions into a talk about Katara's first time.
Can we not talk about that?
Which is the point where you and Diaz realize that this whole thing is getting weirdly incesty because Sokka is dating Zuko's sister and Zuko is dating Sokka's sister. And then they both talk about how, like, hey, our brothers are pretty good lovers, am I right?
Ew. Just ew. Like 1,000 times ew. This is no.
But then they just dismiss it.
This is just devolved past just a simple fan comic.
This has become something more, something worse.
This is something worse. I'm pretty sure this could be a war crime. Yeah.
So, they dismiss it, and Katara says, "Oh, sweetheart," and also tells Azula that there's no going back once you fall in love with someone, which is bad advice.
It's bad advice, but at this point, I'm not surprised.
And I wrote down here basically stuff I've already said about how, like, it's weirdly misogynistic, about how all the guys are Prince Charmings and the girls are like brainless, giggly dolls. And it's like just a juvenile fantasy. Oh, here's the important thing. This is less of an Avatar fan fiction and more of a Jane Austen fan fiction that just happens to have Avatar characters in it.
Okay.
Because, you know, Jane Austen's writing, a lot of it is about, you know, rich nobles who are drawn into a lot of petty squabbles, and they mostly just sit around their estates and not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a comic about really rich nobles who get into petty squabbles and spend all of the comic sitting around an estate not doing anything.
Yep. That's basically this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the writing's just super misogynistic. Case in point, and this is the part that broke me, because...
Oh, just now?
I'm going to show you what I wrote when I got to this part, because when Toph tells Azula and Katara that she's engaged, Azula and Katara squee. They go, eee! And to read out what I wrote when I got to this part, I repeat, they fucking squee. I can't. I just can't. This has broken me. Sam, you better fucking laugh at this.
I'm not. I'm not laughing. I have reached the breaking point like 2 chapters ago. That I'm just dead now.
Well then my suffering was for nothing.
I mean, I can laugh. It's gonna be soulless
Please
and,
laugh.
and devoid of any hope whatsoever.
Do it for me. Do it so that this wasn't in vain.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha.
Thank,
Ha.
thank you.
There you go.
I needed that.
That's just how I feel right now.
So we then cut to the guys, and Zuko and Sokka are sparring. But Diaz only has like one pose she can trace for fighting that makes everyone look like they're trying to imitate a crab.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
And it's okay for this sparring scene, but it's going to become a huge problem during the comic's first and only fight.
This is the only fight in an Avatar fan comic.
No, this is a sparring session. The actual fight is coming in a bit.
It's been 4 chapters.
Yes. Yes, it has. But conflict is icky.
Riley, I'm not having fun anymore. I'm really not.
It's okay. We can get through this.
Okay. Okay.
I'm having a little bit more burger to steel myself for what's to come.
Oh, at least you have a burger to drown your sorrows in.
So Ong runs up, informs the guys he's engaged. Though Zuko initially jokes that he lost his virginity, Ong responds with "No ass," and now they're gonna have a bachelor party.
What? I think that regained my consciousness a little bit because I was so confused by that exchange. What?
So, so Ong tells the guys he's engaged. Zuko
Okay.
makes a joke that Ong has lost his virginity. Ong responds to this joke with "No ass."
So, okay. I broke again. Let's just move on.
Meanwhile, back at the Fire Nation, Sho and Mai are ready to leave for the Earth Kingdom. They've timed it so that Zuko will be in the Fire Nation while they're killing Katara, and the letters will indicate that Mai was still in the Fire Nation when it happened. You know, covering their bases.
Okay.
So we cut to the bachelor party. Maybe it's unclear. A lot of this comic is just things being pointlessly unclear because Diaz is a bad writer and the art isn't putting in the heavy lifting.
Oh yeah.
Sokka and Zuko have a talk about Azula. Zuko decides to see Azula and also gives Sokka his blessing to date Azula, which Sokka is only asking for now after already having sex with her. Real class act there, Sokka.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised anymore.
For whatever reason, this page, and only this page, in the entire chapter plus epilogue story, reads right to left like a manga.
So just this one?
Just this one. Just this single one.
Yeah, I mean, what else has this webcomic not covered?
It's covered all the genres. It's covered all the, like, various comicking techniques.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, just go ahead and change up the reading order for a bit, you know. Switch it up a bit. Why not? It's not like you didn't care about any other creative choice here.
Yes, good. Use your anger, Sam.
No. I'm not gonna use it. Even though I have been. You know, yeah. Just go. Just keep going. Keep going.
Toph narration, though that's not super clear at first because she doesn't get a label. Toph and the girls went to the opera to celebrate their engagement, which gives you an idea of how stupidly rich these idiots are.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I guess no one at the Earth Kingdom Opera House cared that the former Fire Nation princess / Fire Lord who single-handedly conquered the Earth Kingdom capital was present.
Yeah. Again, I'm not surprised. It's like, when was that an issue before?
It's reiterated that Toph has a fear of flying, which has now turned into a turn-on, because she dreams about it and about flying, and now wants to have sex with Ong. Toph repeats what she told us about the dream to Ong, making the narration completely pointless, because she just goes into like perfect detail, because tell, don't show.
Again, not surprised.
Toph's face looks like it's melting on this page. There's a lot of build-up in this scene to Ong being gentle with Toph as they have sex. But considering that Korra went on to show that Toph didn't mellow out even slightly after having 2 kids, this is just like a really bad read of the character.
Yeah, bad reads, bad takes. That's just all this webcomic is.
Now it's time for the second worst sex scene, and the most explicit of them.
Oh, the second worst?
Second worst. I think the worst one is still, we're having sex under a tree in the middle of a torrential rainstorm. But this one's pretty bad. So, the metaphor for sex this time is flying, which, all right. The key thing here, and this is the thing that broke our friend. Ong's tattoos are glowing while he's having sex with Toph. Which means he's using the avatar state while he's having sex with Toph.
Oh no.
Which raises so many questions.
No, we're gonna move on from this. I know exactly the implications. Let's just move on from this.
Probably a good idea, since it was those implications that broke our friend completely and utterly.
It would have broke me if I hadn't already been broken.
This podcast is starting to sound like a tragic poetry thing.
I guess that's what you'd call this webcomic.
So we cut from that to Azula and Iroh having tea. Iroh is proud of Azula, and Zuko is here now. Zuko notes that Azula really has changed because she's dating Sokka, and if she was the old Azula, that would have never happened.
Right, because that's the determining factor. Okay. Okay.
Zuko and Azula make up, and then, wouldn't you know it, Zuko and Azula's mom is here!
Why?
Yes! Their mom! The one who went missing! There has been no build-up to this whatsoever. Literally fucking zero. And now she's just here. In the Earth Kingdom. Chillin'.
Where else would she be? It's the Earth Kingdom. It's where everyone has fun. It's the best place in the Avatar world. Just, yeah. That's just where she'd be. This is great. I'm having so much fun. So much fun.
It's never explained why this version of their mom left or disappeared. I guess that's not important. Why would anyone want to know that? Actual plot, that actual conflict. Who wants that?
No, it's just, she's here. She's here.
She's here.
Yep. Now, it could all be one happy family again.
Yeah, that's literally what Zuko says.
Mm-hmm. Just, again, I just predict terrible stories.
So, just as Zuko is saying, we're finally a happy family again, we then immediately cut, because there are no transitions in this comic whatsoever. We had just cut from one scene to the next with nothing. It's several hours later. Katara is in her room. She finds some photoshopped flowers on top of a photoshopped dresser next to a photoshopped Buddha statue, and a letter that says Zuko is now in the Fire Nation. The note implies that Zuko did not tell Katara he was leaving for the Fire Nation until this letter. Meaning she only found out about it via the note, which, okay. It's there's some additional funny factor because the note indicates that the Fire Nation literally had to drag its own ruler back to the Fire Nation, kicking and screaming. Because the Earth Kingdom is just that beautiful.
That is funny. Yeah. That's just very funny.
So Katara's really happy about this, and then Mai walks into the view of a mirror that Katara can see, like intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Which instantly ruins the element of surprise that she and Sho have dedicated multiple pages of this chapter to creating. Mai then proceeds to explain in exacting detail all of the evil stuff she's done to Katara, including the forced miscarriage poison, which Katara never knew about until now.
Fine.
And you can tell Mai is evil because as she says this, she says she took pleasure in it.
This makes soap operas look like just the greatest pieces of television ever made.
Naturally, because Katara has literally had no knowledge of anything Mai has done up until now, she's just kind of stunned. So now instead of Mai just assassinating her like she should have, like normal, we're going to get a really crappy anime fight.
What else?
Mai starts off by using Naruto's Shadow Clone Jutsu, or this is just Diaz's horrible way of showing speed.
I hate this. Is she cloning herself or is she just moving fast? We don't know.
Mai throws her knives, which look absolutely awful, because Diaz thinks she can just blur and after image everything to make it look cool.
Yeah.
Katara, meanwhile, does a full cartwheel in a ball gown that has a cut down the leg, and the dress does not fall or bend in any way.
Wow. How are those even knives? They look more like bullet holes.
Wait, now that I'm looking at the knives, I just realized that they're pointed towards the camera.
Yeah.
They aren't actually sticking in
wait.
it. They're pointing towards the camera, and she's just hoping you don't notice.
The fuck?
Oh my god.
Damn, she must be a really powerful thrower to throw it that way.
The laziness is incredible.
Damn, yeah. It's just...
And
I'm not surprised. Not surprised.
And then Katara jumps out a window or a balcony. It's not very clear. Toph somehow figures out what's going on and works with Ursa to get there as fast as they can. Ursa has blue fire for some reason, and the overly stiff posing that's brought on by Diaz's use of tracing, because she can only trace what exists. So the poses she uses are just incredibly stiff and awkward. And it just completely kills any sense of drama or movement in what is supposed to be a tense action scene.
This is so bad. I know that's an understatement at this point, but I just have to say, it's all awful.
Meanwhile, Sho literally just walks up to Sokka, ruining the whole surprise thing. Sho makes some disparaging comments towards Azula, and then they fight, with the exact same stiff crab poses that Sokka and Zuko use while sparring. The pacing of the scene and the way the panels are arranged just adds to the unintentional comedy of it all. Oh, I actually have a picture of it. Behold, combat.
I'm not surprised anymore. I hate that face.
That Sho.
I hate both of these faces.
It's not surprise anymore, your Madras mantra.
Yeah.
So Sho jumps while keeping that exact same pose.
The same pose.
Yeah, the same crab pose. She just like rotated him slightly on the image.
I'm sorry, that's just wow.
Azula stumbles upon the fight, which triggers a memory of her talking to Iro. She asks if she asks if she may one day bend again. Iro doesn't know for sure, but thinks it's possible because, and bear with me here, just hold on.
I'm not ready for this.
When she was born, the stars aligned, like literally aligned, in such a way that somehow showed a woman holding a flame. Which means Azula was blessed by the aforementioned God King Agni. This is only being mentioned now.
It's not happening.
And so, with the power of love, Azula restores her bending, and is then immediately stabbed in the heart by one of Mai's throwing knives.
Oh wow.
Sokka scream. Oh, go ahead.
I'd probably be shocked by that, but at this point, I just want as many characters to die as I can.
Sadly, you're not going to get your wish. Because this comic is nothing if not disappointing. Sokka screams, "No!" with like an A instead of O. And the pacing of the page is so bad, it looks like it takes forever for Azula to even fall to the ground after being stabbed in the heart.
What? 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 No. This is the worst drawn death I have seen.
Well, luckily she's not dead.
Wow. Like, you know what? She came back with amnesia. She could just cheat death at this point. Why not?
So the whole scene, to say the least, is just a mess because the character work is so stiff and the camera just keeps breaking the 180 rule. It looks like characters are sliding or teleporting into place. And it's hard to really tell what's happening because there's no like sense of motion to anything.
So
Again, Azula is alive somehow. And
yeah.
And pushed to the edge, Katara uses bloodbending to perform an admittedly fairly cool looking Mortal Kombat fatality on Mai. She does this during the day. And also, this is Katara we're talking about.
Yeah.
Just Mortal Kombat fatalities Mai.
Oh, I can't believe it's only Mai at this point. Why can't you just do it to everyone?
Katara then... Oh, wait, no. Just before Katara kills Mai, she says, "Yue, forgive me," despite the fact that it's broad daylight and Yue died well before bloodbending was ever even introduced as a concept.
Yeah.
And so Katara then immediately uses bloodbending again to move Sokka into a safe place, because I guess she's just completely and totally fine with bloodbending now. Who cares about canon?
There were so many other ways to do that.
She could have used water, you know.
Isn't it raining here?
No, it's not.
Oh, the lighting's just that bad.
Yeah, it's just that bad.
Yeah.
So, Toph defeats Sho with a single earth pillar to the chest. Sho somehow figures out that Toph is blind from this. He then immediately retreats by firebending a sphere around himself and then vanishing into thin air. He promises that he will return and have his revenge.
That's what they all say.
This is the last time we will see Sho in this comic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sam. I'm sorry for what I've put you through.
Only time will heal wounds.
But as Toph says, not all wounds can be healed by time.
Wow.
So Azula's now on death's door. Katara can heal her to keep her from dying flat out, but if they pull the knight out of her heart, it will just kill her instantly. Which is weird, since you think they could just heal the heart, but we've got to have fodder for the last chapter, so that's the conditional here.
Hmm.
So their new plan is to take Azula to the Spirit Pond in the North Pole from the season 1 finale. This is
Wow.
this is considered a reasonable plan, despite them being in the Earth Kingdom and the North Pole being, well, the North Pole.
Yeah. But, I'm sure it's just not that far. They can get there in like 30 minutes.
And so ends chapter 4. Are you feeling it now, Mr.
I'm
Krabs?
feeling something. Something. It's in here somewhere.
So,
Find it.
to give you an idea of what this next chapter is going to be like, the first thing I wrote here was, this chapter is a fucking car crash.
Everything else wasn't.
Yes, but this specifically is a car crash.
This specifically. Okay.
So it's 2 days later. Aang and Zuko are in a meeting with either the Fire Nation Senate or just Zuko's royal advisors. There's a lot of things in this story that are unclear just because Diaz isn't a good writer. The gist of this meeting is that Zuko wants to marry Katara, but the Senate will say no because conservatives. Something to note is that the whole metaphor part of mixing the elements has been just completely dropped, and they're now calling them interracial marriages, which, sure, fine.
Okay. I don't think that's what this fan comic was about to begin with. But sure, why not?
Also, Zuko's argument besides we have to be together because it's the power of love. His argument is I'm the Fire Lord, so I can do what I want, which kind of flies in the face of the whole I'm making the Fire Nation more democratic kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are.
Yeah.
The argument on both sides is mostly, as put here in my notes, mush. One of the advisors / senators says, "For, period, fill a sacred duty." And
For
Zuko,
period, a sacred duty.
no, for, period, space, capital F, fill a sacred duty.
What does that mean?
It's supposed to be fulfill.
Okay. Yeah. That tracks.
And Zuko states he wants the Fire Nation to expand, and the best way to do that is interracial marriages, which sounds a lot more sinister than Diaz probably wanted it to.
Again, just it's not a bad thing to discuss, but the way you're going about it is just really fucked up.
Aang is obviously in support of interracial marriages and notes that if the nations hadn't come together, the Avatar cycle would have died out, which no, it wouldn't have. The cycle was only maybe sort of messed up at the end of Korra Season 2 via spirit magic. The 100 Years War and the genocide of the Air-Nomads didn't really have anything to do with it. The Avatar still would have been born, it just would have happened later. So I don't know what Aang is talking about here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what anyone's talking about here anymore.
Aang shuts everyone up with this sappy speech about how important it is to keep your mind open and blah 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 true love. And says he's fallen in love with an Earth Kingdom countess. Yes, Toph is a noble now. Not just from a rich family, a flat-out noble, and that's why she controls so much land.
I don't think that was a thing in the show.
I can't tell if these are retcons or just Diaz forgetting what she wrote before. It's just baffling. This is what I mean about this chapter being a car crash.
Yeah.
So Iroh and Ursa, Zuko's mom, arrives with the news of Mai's attack. Aang and Zuko leave. This is the last time we'll see either Iroh or Ursa, and the last time the Fire Nation Senate plotline will ever be relevant. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's it. That's the last time we're ever going to do this whole mixed race thing.
Cool. What a cool tangent. Just great.
Yeah, it's not even a side quest, it's a tangent.
It is. That's literally what it is.
Katara is on the boat. Katara is keeping Azula on magical life support. Sokka comes down to talk, and this leads into a speech about how there's so much hate in the world, and which comes out of complete left field and is dropped immediately, since Katara's character arc now is feeling bad about killing Mai. Sokka reassures Katara that she's actually a really cool person and is, quote, ellipses, a hero, ellipses, always, ellipses, my hero.
Okay.
They're a day away from the North Pole now, which means this trip took 3 days and a knife and 3 days, and Azula survived with a knife in her heart.
I don't know how she did that. But who cares?
The next morning, Aang and Zuko land on the ship. And at this point, Diaz has just completely given up in regards to making the photoshopped elements look natural, because their ship is just a modern-day cruise liner with some folded sails stuck on the sides.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame her. I've fully given up on this too. Some would say it's a sinking ship.
But tis.
That's the first pun I made this entire podcast.
I mean, that's fine. That's our friends thing.
I know, but still, I'm just, damn. I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not.
You're not feeling it, Mr. Krabs?
I think this fan comic is giving me pain.
Soul pain?
Yes, soul pain.
Well, have courage. We're nearly through it.
How?
How?
How? Just, I keep thinking there's going to be more to this. Riley, please tell me that this chapter is the last chapter.
This is the last chapter. There is only... This is the last chapter. So there's only a short 5-page epilogue after this. Super short. This is the last chapter, I promise.
Okay.
So they land on the ship, and Toph has something to tell them, but she beats around the bush so much that it makes it sound worse. She's like, I have something to tell you. What is it? What I'm about to tell you is going to change everything. If I tell you this, it's going to become super serious. If I tell you this, it's going to be really bad and stuff. If I tell you this, will you tell us what it is? No. Because if I tell you this, everything will change. That stuff.
The recording program stopped here. So enjoy the vastly different audio quality for the last segment of the cast.
So,
Okay.
drum roll, please.
You don't get a drum roll.
Okay, I'll reverse it. Hold on. Azula is pregnant. Ba 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 da. Wah!
I'm done. Just... What? What do you mean she's pregnant? She has a knife in her heart. And she's pregnant?
Zuko's face looks more frustrated and annoyed than the devastated he's supposed to be. He just cranes his neck up and goes, "Oh my god." Which, same dude, same.
I'm sorry. Katara had a miscarriage from eating a fruit. Azula has a knife in her heart. And she's just still okay?
Well, to be fair, the fruit was poisoned with special miscarriage poison.
I think that knife is coated with special miscarriage poison. It's a knife.
So, Toph notes that Azula is 3 months along. Now, if you've been paying attention to the timeline of the story, Azula...
It doesn't add up.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Azula arrived at the estate 3 months ago. And to be clear, this is Sokka's kid.
It's just... okay.
It's just, I know.
Just... how?
The miracle of child.
Okay. Okay.
That night, Toph speaks with Sokka, and again, she just beats around the issue. Before Toph can tell him, Sokka whines by asking Toph if she can imagine if the feelings Aang gives her turn into, quote, nothing but a cold memory. Toph repeats a lot of her love stuff. It's filler. It's just garbage. And then she tells him that Azula's pregnant. He reacts how you'd expect. Why me?
Why me?
Why me? The woman I love is dying. My child might die with her. Oh, woe is me.
Just... I don't know. Why did you become a couple? Just...
That is a good question. They never did answer that.
What do you see in each other?
Azula is now in the spirit world, caught between life and death. The spirit world in this comic is just a very bland-looking, spooky forest. Azula is guided through the woods by a Tinkerbell-like sprite that looks like a naked Aang. The sprite leads Azula to her other spirit companion, which is, no joke, a Photoshop of a panda bear.
Why?
Just a dead-ass real panda.
I feel like she completely gave up at this point. Diaz.
No,
I feel like she did.
Now, I think this might be the panda spirit from season 1, but it's hard to say.
She gave up on this series. Well, apparently she didn't. She made sequels, but
Yes.
she gave up on the storyline.
The panda explains via terrible digital zoom. Like, they just digitally zoom in on the panda's face and it looks like garbage. That the longer Azula stays in the spirit world, the more memories she'll lose because she's losing parts of her soul. Or something. Anyway, the panda carries Azula to Avatar Roku, is just really down with helping Aang rescue this one person, I guess. Back in the real world, Katara whines to Zuko about how she's a monster now, and the death of Mai will be pointless if Azula dies too. This melodrama is conveyed with the same dead-eyed stare she's carried the whole comic.
She has not changed her reaction at all.
No, she hasn't. She is literally just copy and pasted all the way from chapter 2.
So the font is becoming more incomprehensible. I can barely read the first few words. Maybe that's just me losing my sanity. It's probably both.
It's her mind trying to cope.
I just... Okay. The first word is no. Then you. Okay. I think I get the gist of this now.
So, Zuko says that Katara is a hero, not a bad guy, which is apparently now the main theme of this story.
How?
I guess it's not the race mixing anymore, or the love, or anything else. The theme here is, oh, we were heroes.
That's it?
That's it.
It's like the most generic theme you could pick.
At this point, it just feels like Diaz is like taking themes out of a hat, and then when she gets bored with them, she just throws them away.
It's just, what the fuck?
The panda takes Azula as far as it can go, and Azula is told about dangerous demons. The panda tells her the god's speed. Because of course he does.
The god's speed?
The god's speed.
Cool.
In the real world, our heroes arrive at the Northern Water Tribe and Aang exposits. He regurgitates a lot of what he had already been told. Excuse me. What had already been told to Azula, because tell, don't show. But he also notes that someone must go into the spirit world and pull her out. The wrinkle is that this person must be someone she recognizes and that she must remember who she is. Both of which are an issue because of the whole memory thing. She won't be able to travel through the spirit tunnel to the life coil linked to her body, which is some JRPG nonsense if I've ever heard it.
Yeah.
Sokka, obviously, volunteers. The art makes Aang he just looks so done. He looks so bored and like I just couldn't give a crap. Which like mood.
I just yeah.
Actually, in this chapter, Aang looks a lot like I assume you're looking now, Sam.
I probably.
Azula and the Sprite are attacked by demons, and then Azula leaves the Sprite behind. And then the Sprite is never seen or mentioned again, so I guess it just died. Oh well.
Yay.
Azula finds herself in Roku's sanctuary. Roku notes that he sent his most trusted friends to find her, meaning that Avatar Roku's most trusted friends were a Tinkerbell sprite and a JPEG of a panda bear.
Yeah, that's the most trustworthy friends if I ever could pick friends.
Remember when he had a dragon?
Did he?
He did. That was his Appa.
Yeah, that's right. That's what's actually a thing in the show. I'm starting to mix up the canonity of things. Is that a word? I don't know anymore. What are words?
Canonicity. Yeah, it's pretty close.
What are words at this point?
Well, they weren't used to make this.
Nope, they were not.
So, I hope you're sitting down for this.
I've been sitting down this entire time.
I hope you're sitting further. So
I'll sit further.
I was wrong, actually. I forgot about this part. This is the actual worst part of the comic.
The actual worst part?
Mm-hmm. So, Azula is confused why she's so important to Roku. And then Roku explains that she must carry the hope of the world. I think you know what that means. Remember that star woman? The woman who appeared in the stars when Azula was born? The flame she was holding was on her stomach. In other words, Agni, the Fire Nation god, who I guess is the one true god in this universe, made her destiny to give birth to the Chosen One. And Roku ties this off by so delicately putting it as, the hope of the world lies within your whom.
No. This is too much. This has crossed the line. We are now in just very bad fan fiction. I mean, we already were. I think this is honestly the worst fan fiction I have ever had the misfortune of hearing about.
It's like, it keeps crossing the same line over and over again. It just keeps going back and forward.
Let's just... How does this end?
So, Azula can now feel the baby because spirit magic. In the real world, they get to the spirit pool, and Zuko laments that he returned to the spirit pool where he fought Katara, but now he's grown to understand just how cool and spiritual his place is. Katara starts healing Azula in the pool, but time is running out. Aang brings Sokka into the spirit world with a disturbingly realistic face that goes straight into the uncanny valley. I mean, Sokka has the same thing too, but Aang's is worse. Look at it. Look at that face. Look at them lips.
What is this?
It's Aang from Avatar.
That... I want to go home. I think, yeah. That's, you're right. This is the tipping point. This is the low of the lowest of this fan comic.
Sokka enters the spirit world, and he enters in his initial show outfit, like his Water Tribe uniform, which looks really weird on him now because he's super uncomfortably buff. Sokka comes upon Azula, but whoops, she doesn't remember him. She does, however, remember loving a boy with dark skin and blue eyes. That conveniently looks exactly like Sokka. Funny that. Sokka pulls the same trick on her. It's unclear if Sokka is doing this intentionally as a neat writing moment, or if the memory effects are hitting him too. Again, it's stupidly unclear. This works though, and they kiss. The implication being they'll live in the spirit world forever. Katara sobbing. And that's the end of chapter 5.
That's it?
Well, no, there's still the epilogue.
They just are stuck in the spirit realm.
But they're together forever.
No. This is... Why is this ship a thing? Why...
It never was. It really never was.
Why did this ship become the focal point of an already bad ship fan comic? This
to
is
reiterate
like
you,
the worst...
remember when this was about Katara?
I know. This was about one terrible thing initially, and it just got worse. Each chapter just introduces an even worse trope. And even worse creative decisions. I mean, I gotta commend Diaz here. She has created something so terrible that in order to tie up the threads, she has to make even more terrible choices. And it just keeps spiraling into, like, even worse territory. This has to be the worst fan comic ever written.
Never say that.
I hesitate to say it, but I don't know what else could be it. This is truly the worst webcomic I have ever read. And I haven't even read it. I've only gotten secondhand experience from it. A secondhand retelling. This is awful.
Does the story redeem itself in its epilogue? Short answer, no. Long answer, it is now 6 years later, and in case you thought we were going to miss every romantic cliche, we are introduced to Katara and Zuko's kids.
God damn it. Stop. Just stop. I don't want to hear this.
Their names
anymore.
are Lily and Kuzan. Yes, they named their new son Kuzan after the previous one who died in the womb.
No. I refuse to hear this.
Well, nothing else happens. We're introduced to all of their other kids. I even wrote down here, look, I could go over every detail of the epilogue, but nothing really happens besides dumb kid stuff. Sokka and Azula are alive, actually. They have a kid named Miracle. Because of course they fucking do. And then the final page is Azula giving a big monologue about everything that happened and how important love is. It doesn't matter. What follows is the last line of the story. Anti-drum roll, please. I lived in a time of harrows. Yes, she spelled harrows wrong. Yes, she... Sam, no, come back.
I refuse to acknowledge that I heard that line.
Well, yes, she did misspell the last non-existent word of her fan comic. And then that's it. That's the end.
I'm not a better person At the end of this, I thought I could handle this. This is truly one of the worst pieces of media I have ever heard. I can at least say that I didn't actually read it. That's
Yes.
good.
But
I
I
don't
had
think
to
I
read
could
it
recover.
twice.
This is just awful.
Well, if you like bad art and bad writing and have a certain appreciation for cringe, it's pretty entertaining.
See, I thought I could handle it. I thought I could. Yeah, we've watched some really terrible stuff over the years.
We have.
This is easily one of the worst. I never want to look at any of these pieces of art ever again. I'm sorry to everyone who we've subjected to this to. This is, yeah.
I'm sure they'll read it after this.
Yeah, I mean, read it at your own risk. Fuck.
It haunts you.
No, I'm gonna have nightmares. About
Plot
this.
nightmares.
Plot nightmares. Well.
So given all of that, what rating would you give Top 10 How I Became Yours? Like, where does it fit on the Top 10 list?
Top 10 lists. I mean, I can't give it the number one spot because who knows if we'll come across something even worse. So I say I'll give it somewhere pretty close to there. I'll give it an 8.
All right, 8. Pretty good.
8 out. Yep, 8. Solid 8.
Yep, as someone who's read this twice, I can say that, 8's a pretty good place for it.
Well, thank you to everyone who suffered through this.
Yes, we appreciate each and every one of you.
Next time,
Next time, Sam shows me something, or I listen to it anyway.
yeah, I thought it was going to be pretty bad. We'll see how this compares.
We will. We'll see how, what's it called? Some album?
No, we're not going to spoil it, but
Oh, true. I'll spoil it in the, next time part, but...
oh, well, they'll find out then.
And only then.
Next time. Top 10 angelic to the core. The 2 in the title is the number 2, so you can probably guess how this worked out.